its Cybertron, and now its residents shall witness its dismemberment. Rise, my podcast. Serve your new master well. All hail Unicron.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to All Hail Unicron episode 79. It's a no-brainer. I don't know why we're calling it that yet. Maybe the title will change. Who knows? Joining me tonight is the one and only Mr. Rich Preordered. How are you, sir?
Hello. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am also doing well. And that's it. Oscar may be showing up later. It's almost Thanksgiving, so I know around this time of year is when Robert gets the most thankful and just starts giving out handies in the back of a New York alley to whoever will come along. So, yeah, he's not here tonight as a result. So, anybody get anything? Let me see. Let me go through the list. Rich.
Oh, man. Me?
Surprise. Surprise.
So I forgot last week to say that I got the Newage G2 Slag.
Very nice.
And he's beautiful. The one thing I don't care for about him is, so the other Slag I have from Newage is the cartoon. So the dino head is fully painted. This one has the clear, like, smoked plastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's nothing inside.
Yeah, it is weird. And to be honest with you, when you showed me that picture, I was like, nah, mine's not like that. And I looked at it, like, oh shit, mine's just like that, you know, like, because once you put the head in from the transformation, or the lower jaw, I should say, it's normal. So yeah, it is weird. It is a little bit weird that there's just like nothing in there. But yeah,
I feel like even if they just painted the inside silver or something, it would have, I don't know, look better. It looks like there's a piece missing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's dark enough that I don't feel like there's something missing, but like once you point it out, I'm like, yeah, it's a little weird. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it didn't strike me, I think, like it struck you, but yeah, it is a little weird, I guess. So
yeah, and again, to be fair, the one I have is not transparent. The other one I have, the toy version, and but you can tell that there is no other piece. It's just that's it. It's just a hollow dino head.
Yeah,
but I mean, but otherwise he's beautiful.
Indeed.
It's, a wonderful deco. So I got that. I got the X-Transbots Runabout and Runamuck when Big Bad put them on sale.
How much did they put them on sale for?
Well, I think they were $60 each.
Okay, they're actually a decent figure. So
yeah, except for the weird windshield thing.
Yeah, the windshield's a little strange, but I mean, I can deal with it. It's not
right.
It's not horrible. It is far from X-Transbots like worst design. Now there are some. One of them, I think, Runabout. Is that the black one? I can't remember.
I think Runamuck is the.
No, I think Runamuck's the white one. Let me see.
Is it?
Runamuck Transformers. Yes. You know why I remembered that? I was like, because if you. This is how I remember it. You gotta get those mnemonic devices, right? So run amok, because he's white, the white car. If he went through like a brown mucky puddle, it would show more on him than it would on Runabout. Bam! That's how I remember it. And also Runabout has a B for black. So 2 things to remember. Yeah! That's how I remember it.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
That's how I remember it. That's how I always try to remember it. Then I'm like, am I right? I feel like I'm not right, but...
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So there you go, listeners. I taught you something.
Taught me something.
Yeah. So did you mess with them yet?
Not really.
Right.
They came in. They got here right before TFCon, which was last weekend. So I was doing a bunch to get ready for that, and yeah, I just haven't messed with them too much this week either. Catching up on stuff, getting back.
I think it's the black one has something weird about the how the wheels fold in. Just make sure you're watching a video with it before you do it. I just remember there being something about that. I haven't transformed mine since I put them in robot mode. I'm like, it's cool. All right, cool. Sit on the shelf. But they're not big, so yeah. So what else did you get?
So at TFCon, I picked up the Rotor, MMC's Rotor and MMC's Ratbat, both exclusives to TFCon.
Mm-hmm.
And they're cool. Ratbat is a little bit of a, I don't know. It's basically their Rumble Frenzy mold
With a different
with
head.
a new. Yeah, it comes with the Ratbat head, this like Senator Ratbat head, and it comes with a second head. And you and I are looking at these, and they're barely different.
Yeah, I couldn't see a damn difference to it. You're like, oh, he's got like a slightest bit of a smirk there. I'm like, I still don't see it.
It's so weird. It's like, I don't know. And they retooled the chest, and I think there might be a couple other parts on the abdomen or something that are retooled. And he comes with a little cape. So it's cool, but it's kind of, I mean, it's not as bad, I guess, or as easy as a repaint like when they did Enemy.
Yeah.
Which is a repaint of Fremble, the Fremble mold.
Yeah.
At least they did some retooling here, but I don't know. I would love to see them take their Ravage mold and do the other 4 lions to go with the black lion they did for Orlando last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have been cool if they did that. I'd like to see that. I think I would have liked to have seen some extra accessories. Like, you know how Rumble and Frenzy have the pile drivers? Like, he didn't have the pile drivers with him, right?
Correct.
So it would have been cool, and it doesn't necessarily make sense for the character, but it kind of makes sense for the character if they had replaced the Rumble and Frenzy pile drivers with some wings of some form or something like that. I mean, that'd be kind of cool. Like, plug into part of his back or something to give him the Ratbat-esque wings,
Yeah.
So,
or
in place of the cape or in addition to it, So.
Yeah. Or he comes with the Rumble Frenzy guns. It would have been cool if maybe he came with some Ratbat guns too.
Yeah.
That plugged onto his back and kind of sat over his shoulders or something.
Yeah.
Like they do in the proper Ratbat cassette or something. That would have been cool.
Yeah. But
the other thing,
I get it though because it's a limited thing, right? So they don't want to waste a whole bunch of money retooling it, and they're only selling 500, right? So I get it. It just would be
true.
Cool. So maybe someone will come along and third party upgrade it, fourth party. So
yeah,
you never know.
The other thing about it that is, I don't know, it bothers me a little bit is like Rumble and Frenzy, and I think every iteration of that mold that I've seen out of the box has stickers that you can put. I think it might even have stickers for both sides of the cassette. But, there's stickers to make it look like a cassette.
Yeah.
In cassette mode. And Ratbat has nothing.
Yeah.
And I even checked. I went back. Toy Dojo was the one selling them. I went back and I talked to Eddie and I said, hey, were there supposed to be stickers?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, no, they didn't do that with this one. So it's just blank. Yeah. There's no tampo. There's no. I'm sure Repro Labels or Toy Hacks will come up with a set for it, but it's kind of like, you had the stickers already. You just had to reprint them with different colors. So I think that kind of felt cheap.
Yeah.
Did
MMC ever make a Rosanna version of the mold?
They did. They did Rosanna, and they did the other one from the Kiss players, because there's 2 that are very similar.
Yeah. One's white and pink, and the other one's pink and white or something like that. Right?
Yeah.
So.
And they did do both of those.
Okay.
Which is nice.
Yeah. Well, if they didn't, maybe I'll pick one of them up sometime and see the mold. But oh well.
Yeah. Well, so that's actually the other mold, right? That's the
rewind and eject mold.
Rewind eject mold, yeah. But still, yeah. So I got those.
That'd be kind of cool though if they did. So they did the Black Lion. Black Lion was done with Steel Jaws mold, right? Is
yes.
That correct? Yeah. So then you do the. God damn it! Why am I blanking on the name? Ravage. Yeah, Ravage. The Ravage mold for the other lions for the Lion Force. That'd be super cool.
I think that would be awesome. I think that Black Lion looks so good just sitting there.
Yeah.
In Black Lion mode. It just looks great. I don't think they retooled anything on him, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It just lends itself so well. And I think KFC did that first, right? Way back in the day with their very first Steeljaw.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Pestilence, I think they called him or something.
Yeah.
And he was a TFCon exclusive.
Yeah.
But of course, he's, G1 cassette size. He's not the big full-size cassette like the MMC. But yeah, so the others, what else did I get? So, so at TFCon, Non-F was there.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin and I stopped by, and I picked up some stuff, and I bought a paddles upgrade kit. And the paddles upgrade kit takes Studio Series 86 liter class sludge and makes some paddles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what type of water
Is it a
dinosaur that is.
plesiosaur? I think so. I don't know.
Something like that, yeah. I'm not very good with my dinosaurs.
No. I'd go get my son if I wasn't pissed at him. So.
And it's a nice kit. And what was funny though is, so I get this kit. I'm like, well, I'll eventually find another sludge or something somewhere loose, whatever. That's not the hard thing to find anymore, right? And there were plenty that we had already seen. This was Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
We were helping a friend, so we had dealer badges. So we're walking around before the
dealer
show.
badges is so cool. I feel like I can't go to TFCon without a dealer badge.
Oh, I know. Once you have one, it's like you don't. Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't have to wait in lines. I can
walk
go
over
in
like,
and out.
hello, plebes.
So we're walking around. Justin and I are walking around, and we turn around this aisle. We're kind of like going, and one aisle starting to go down another aisle, and there's two tables on the corner, right? There's the one that we just passed, and then the one we're kind of leading into. I walked right past this one corner table, took a glance, didn't really see anything, and I was looking at something caught my eye at this other corner, and Justin goes, "Hey, here's a Studio Series sludge," and I turn and look, and this guy had, I think, just put it out and put a price on it.
Yep.
It was loose. It has no gun, which I don't really care because the sludge or the paddles upgrade kit comes with weapons. And it's just sitting there, and he's putting a Post-it on it, $10.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I assume this is missing his sword. And he goes, yeah, it doesn't have any accessories. I'm like, is it missing any other parts? Is it broken? He goes, no, I don't think so. It's fine. I'm like, $10? I'll take it. So he could have said 30 and I would have taken it. Like it's $55 retail, and it's only missing its gun, and everybody else had him for, $60 sealed.
Yeah.
I'm like, $10?
This dude's
sure.
just like, I just want to get rid of it.
Yeah, so I snagged that right up, and I've already put the kit on him. And there's a couple parts I'm going to glue together for his fins, but the kit's really cool. Yeah. Comes with a new head for robot mode. It comes with some stuff to change how the chest looks a little bit.
Yeah.
In robot mode, which is nice. Yeah, it's a pretty cool kit.
He's got the little head crest for the back of the dinosaur head. I like that.
Yeah, too. And he's got like a neck extension. So the neck extension is for Sludge also, if you want to make Sludge's neck longer and have some more points of articulation. Mm-hmm. But I think what looks cool is paddles with the extra long neck, but leaving Sludge as is. So they look further like two different figures, Yeah. But I think it's a fantastic kit. I highly recommend it to anybody who wants a paddles. Non-F did an amazing job, in my opinion, of taking something that is off the shelf and making it something else without a whole lot of like, oh, well, you got to take this part off and cut it or pop this pin. You don't have to do any of that. You do have to take some screws out. That's not a big deal.
So complicated.
I know, but it's like, some of these kits you could be like, well, you got to cut this off. And no, none of that. It's like I could restore Sludge back to his
former sludgy self.
Former sludgy self, minus his gun, and be done with it. But yeah, so it's a fun little kit.
Nice.
And then I think that's about all I got, except for a bunch of autographs.
Yeah, I mean a
at TFCon.
Bunch of autographs.
And then I went to a con yesterday. And okay, I got to tell you a con story from yesterday, because I saw one of the most kind of meta cool things that I've ever seen at a con. I've been to a ton of conventions. So I went with my buddy Mike and Chris, and Mike and I are standing there waiting for Chris, who's getting an autograph from a Star Wars actor who was in The Mandalorian. So we're standing there, and my buddy Mike goes, hey, check it out. It's Alan Ruck. Mm-hmm. And here comes Alan Ruck. Alan Ruck is, I forget his name, Cameron?
Cameron, yeah.
From Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was Ferris Bueller's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was also in
Did
Secession.
he not play... It's always hard to tell actors when they get older. Let me see. I just think... what other shows was he in? Yeah, I gotta look at that. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, I can't remember anything else he's been in off the top of my head besides Ferris Bueller and Secession, where he played the one older brother who was dating the hooker. Anyway,
Yeah.
it was a good show. So he's at the show too, like he's one of the guests. So we're standing there waiting, and my buddy's like, "Hey, it's Alan Ruck," and here he comes walking, and he's got his like handler. All the celebrities have like a handler that sit at their table. So here he comes, just walking, just down the aisle. But you see that sometimes. Usually there's, they have a little escort, like their handler or somebody, and they're taking them to whatever. Take a break, go to a panel. But he's just walking down the like main aisle with all the other celebrities. And right there is also John Cleese. He had a booth. And John Cleese, he's a legend, right?
Of course.
Monty Python, Nearly Headless Nick, Rat Race, to name one of a bajillion things, or a handful of a bajillion things. So Alan Ruck proceeds to get in the regular line for John Cleese, just like I would if I wanted to go meet John Cleese. And there's like two people in front of him. There's like one person talking to John Cleese and this girl behind that person. And then here's Alan Ruck, and we're watching him, and we're like, he's just going to meet John Cleese like everybody else would. And sure enough, he walks up, and they all have their 8x10s that you can pick from to get an autograph on, And sure enough, he's like looking, and he points to one, and then he reaches and gets his wallet out, and we're like, "Is this really happening?" Like, this guy's like, and then we watched him, and he goes up, and sure enough, he just stands there with his print in his hand, waiting, just like we would, waiting in line. And then the girl that was in front of him, she's talking, and John Cleese they're laughing, whatever, talking. He signs something for her. She leaves, and he walks up, and it's like he just lit up. And John Cleese, we couldn't really hear, but we could see them, and they shook hands, and he was just Alan Ruck was like, he looked like he was just starstruck, like you would be meeting
right
whomever one of your favorite celebrities is. And it was like, we were just like, wow, how cool is that? Like, just a neat thing,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was my little experience from and that was Motor City Con that I went to yesterday.
Very nice.
Yeah, and then the other amazing story was meeting Mark Watts.
On this table.
Should we talk about Mark Watts?
Yes, we absolutely have to talk about Mark Watts.
So,
he is my favorite person in the world now. he doesn't even know it. We did. I don't even think I said more than like "have a good day" or something to it. But
yeah, it was so amazing. So Mark Watts is one of the original G1 box art artists. He did the box art for like Shockwave, Devastator, the Constructicons, Jetfire, Bumblebee, a bunch of the Minibots. He did a ton. I think he did one of the box art backs, or maybe some of the artwork. Oh, I think he did one of the artwork for one of the reinforcements from Cybertron flyers. Just a ton of really iconic box art and images. In fact, I think he sold. Well, I don't think he sold. I know he sold the original Shockwave line art, like the original. Somebody posted a picture of it. It's like, 36 by 24. It's a huge poster because that's what they worked on size wise, and it was the original art. Anyway, I have the Transformers Legacy book, which is the big. It's a beautiful book. I have the hardback edition. It's done by Jim Sorensen and Bill Forster, and it documents a bunch of the box artwork. Highly recommend this book. It's beautiful. I had just taken it up to Richard Marseille, who's another box art guy who was at TFCon Baltimore. And my one buddy Mike, he's very particular about his autographs and his pens. So he wasn't able to make it to the con, so I got some autographs from him, and he sent me with 2 pens. Mm-hmm. So the one pen was this gold Sharpie, and Richard Marseille used it, and it looked beautiful. On the Legacy book has a lot of black pages, really makes the box art pop. So I had him sign near one of the C-Cons, I think Tentakill, because he did the box art for several of the C-Cons, Power Master Prime, a bunch of other stuff. So I had him sign that with this marker. So then I go to Mark Watts. Justin and I go over to Mark Watts, and I had 2 things to get from Mark Watts. Well,
and
possibly 3.
Ensued.
Oh, it's so good. So I had the Legacy book, and again, he did the Shockwave art, which is, they have that like very near the front of the book, I think maybe with the foreword even, because it's so pretty, so nice, that Shockwave art. But he also did Devastator, and I kind of wanted his autograph on the Devastator page. So there's that. Also, Ocean did these official box art prints, officially licensed through Hasbro, and it's not all the box art. I think they're maybe 11 by 17, but it's several of the different box arts that we got through the years. So I took that pack with me, and I'd already looked through them with Richard Marseille, and he said, no, I didn't do any of those, but I wasn't sure about Mark Watts, and I had the one that I thought Richard Marseille had done on top, but they were in like a sleeve. And the other thing I needed to get from him is my buddy Ryan wanted me to pick up a Bumblebee print signed and made out to his friend Ben. So I go up to his table, and now Mark Watts is like, and this is just setting the stage. He's like this little Danny DeVito guy.
Yeah,
he's real
about
short.
Danny DeVito size, for sure.
Yeah, and
he might be a little taller than Danny DeVito, but it's close.
Maybe, but still, yeah. And so he's got these like 2 younger guys at his booth, and they had the exact same voice, right? So we kind of think they were probably like his sons or something, like helping him out.
Yeah.
So that's who's at this booth, and he's got all these pieces of artwork hanging up, like, prints that he has. And I go up, and he's like, hey, Mark Watts, how you doing? He's got this, like, his voice is just amazing. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, what's his face from Welcome Back, Kotter?
Yeah.
John Travolta, Vinnie Barbarino. And his kids the other 2 guys at the booth sounded identical to him. And he's like, hey, how you doing? I'm Mark Watts. And I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. My name's Rich, And he goes, what you got there? And I had the prints out. He goes, I see you got that print. I didn't do that print. Well, I was like, well, there's some box art in here. And I still had the Legacy book out too. And, or I had that, I think I still had that in my bag. I'm like, well, let's see what else here.
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch. He goes, what you got? Let me look at these.
And you went through them. I didn't do that.
I didn't do that. That was Billy. Nope, I didn't do that one either. That was Jimmy. He goes, I didn't do any of these. What else you got? You got anything else? I'm like, well, all right. And I put those in. I pull out the Legacy book. Oh, there's all kinds of my stuff in there. That's a great book. I'm all over that. What, you want an autograph on that? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, what do you want an autograph? You want it on the cover? Maybe you want it on Shockwave. Everybody's doing Shockwave. You want it on the color, though? I got these pens. These pens, they don't work. I get these. He's got this silver Sharpie. He goes, they don't do anything. I try to sign them inside. They don't work. They do okay on the cover, but they're not great. I bought a whole case of these. Man, they don't even work. I'm like,
this is not even like being over dramatic. Honestly,
Yeah,
this is legit how this man talked too. Like,
it's so good.
There is no what's the word I'm looking for? Sarcasm, satire. I don't know. I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for, but this is legitimately how it sounded.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was, and it's so funny too, because like I don't know about you, but I was kind of like, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, I don't know how to process this exactly, like, because it's almost like am I getting a prank call from the Jerky Boys or like, so I'm like, well, I do have this pen, and I pull this gold Sharpie out. I think it was just a regular gold Sharpie, It wasn't anything too special.
Nothing special. Nothing.
And I'm
absolutely nothing special. I think it was copper colored, actually, though.
It might have been copper or bronze or something. And I'm like, well, I have this pen. He goes, does that pen work pretty well? And I'm like, well, hold on. I got it signed over here by, Richard Marseille. And I turned to that and he goes, oh, boys, look at this pen, boys. And they look over at it. He's like, oh, that's a great pen. He goes, you want me to sign that with that pen? I could do that with that pen. Oh, that pen looks good.
Thinking about this whole transaction, we'll come back to it later, but I think you missed an opportunity, but we'll get there. Keep going.
Oh, okay. So he goes, oh, let's do that. You want that Shockwave sign? And I'm like, well, I was thinking about Devastator. He goes, let's go to the Shockwave. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I guess I'm getting Shockwave.
I guess Shockwave it is.
So we turn to Shockwave, and he proceeds to sign Shockwave, right? And he's like, now you got to let that dry a little bit. You want to let that dry? Just let that dry. So I set it down, and then I'm like, well, I do need something else. Actually, after he signed, he goes, yeah, that pen works so well. And I'm like, you want this pen? He goes, I can have this pen? Boys, look at this. I got this pen. Yep. Are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. I don't need it for anything else. And, my buddy Mike will often do that, too. Like, if somebody's like, that's a great pen.
This is where you made a mistake, by the way.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, you should have haggled that pen.
What can I get for this pen? No, because I kind of feel like now the G1 artist mafia owes me a favor or something. When this guy acted. So
you might be right. I don't know.
He's like,
what do I know?
Yeah. Oh, and before he signed, he goes, it's $30. It's $30 if I'm going to sign this book. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. So he signs it. He goes, what else can I get for you? You need anything else? And I'm like, well, what I really need is I need a Bumblebee print. He goes, oh, we are all out of the Bumblebee prints. And then one of the boys, the other guys in the town goes, yeah, we got no more of the Bumblebee prints left. We went through we sold all the Bumblebee prints. and he had this example print up that was like Bumblebee gear. I don't know. It was like 6 Minibots, Cliff Jumper maybe. And I was like, well, do you have any more of those? And he goes, the one other kid was like, we're all out of those too. We don't have any more Bumblebee prints. And so Mark Watts turns on like super salesman mode. He goes, hold on, I got what you need. Come on over here for a minute. So I kind of go around like kind of almost back behind his table that he's got set up. And in the corner, and he sells these on his website. He sells these tables. And I don't know, it's like a 3-foot by 2-foot table. And it's like, it's got a piece of the artwork under a piece of glass on it. And you can take this table, fold it up, and hang it on the wall. Mm-hmm. And it just looks like a picture with a aluminum silver frame. But then you could take it off the wall and you can unfold the legs, and it's a table. It's nothing really that special about it. I've seen him on his website a lot, but he's like, take a look at this. You see this? What do you think this is? This is a beautiful piece of artwork here. He's like showing it on the wall, and then he's got one unfolded on the ground. And he goes, this isn't just a beautiful piece of artwork. It's a table. It's a table. And he gestures down, and the table is like a foot off the floor.
You just pop these legs around. Now it's a table.
Now it's a table. But this table's real low to the floor because they had stuff on the wall. So I guess they didn't want to put the table all the way up and the legs adjust. He goes, look how low this table is. Maybe it's sitting on the floor. You put your laptop on it. Watch this. He reaches down and he starts adjusting the legs up. He goes, you could adjust these legs up. Now it's a normal table. Maybe you eat your dinner on it. You done with your dinner? You hang it back up on the wall. This is a no-brainer. Forget about it. You need this table, right? You want one of these, right? And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I'm like, oh no. So I'm like, well, I mean, he really wanted a Bumblebee print. Like, I'm trying to back out of things now. Like, I don't want this table, And he goes, oh, okay. Well, what about this? We don't have Bumblebee. What about this? And he like gestures to the Jetfire print. I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure he really wanted just a print of Bumblebee. Bumblebee's his favorite. Okay, come on. Well, I guess it's just $30 then. And I'm like,
No. Then he's like, well, I got this rare G1 Bumblebee.
Yeah. I noticed he had a Bumblebee and I think a Cliff Jumper. And it's the Walmart reissue, or Bumblebee and somebody.
Super rare.
Yeah, and he's got it's like the Walmart reissue from a couple years back. And it's signed by him. And there's no price or anything. I was like, well, what about this Bumblebee? He goes, oh, that Bumblebee's for sale. Yeah, that's very rare. It's very rare. It's $150. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, can I take a picture? And he goes, you can take a picture. Go ahead and take a picture. Send it to your friend. See if that's what he wants. And so I sent the picture and told him how much. And he's like, no, I'll just order a print off of his site. Yeah, I messaged my buddy with the picture. He goes, no, I'll just order a print off his site, And so I'm like, okay, he just said he'll order a print off your site. You see, he's got your website, and he's like, oh, okay. And he goes, you want one of these flyers? It's got the info on it. And then his son's like, yeah, here you go, have one of these flyers. I'm like, no, that's okay. And then I gave him his $30, Super nice guy, but man, if you have the chance to see Mark Watts, go talk to him just for the entertainment value.
And try and buy something he doesn't have. So
yeah, it's so funny because we went back to my friend's table, Dan. And we were like, because he had a dealer table, we dropped some stuff off, and we were like, you got to go talk to Mark Watts, right? He's like, I don't want to go and then feel obligated to buy something. Like, ask for a Bumblebee print. Guarantee he doesn't have any. Just say that's all you want, and just go talk. But they didn't do it.
Yeah, he should have. It's such a missed opportunity.
It was hard too. That guy's amazing.
When we walked away from Mark Watts, though, I felt like, I don't know, I felt uneasy about it. It's like when you go to like a car dealership or a used car dealership, and they're like, I'll never see that guy again. Like when you're like, oh, he said he'll buy the print offline. He's like, yeah, well, like, sure he will.
He didn't take a flyer. He's not gonna buy anything from me. It's going. It's over.
Yeah.
It was so good. That was
amazing.
The highlight of the guests at TFCon.
Absolutely. So
it's good stuff there.
That was amazing. Speaking of your friend, did you Photoshop that poster?
I did not.
Come on.
Well, so it kind of, I had a small window of opportunity to do it, which would have been Saturday night.
We should have done it.
I know.
Damn it, we were too busy putting Tidal Wave in the base mode instead of photoshopping pictures. That was a terrible use of our time.
It was. And we put Sludge in base mode and Legacy G1 Deluxe Optimus in base mode.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They don't have base mode, but neither does Tidal Wave.
It's just fairness. Neither does Tidal Wave. Oh, you're not wrong.
They should put quotes around base mode in the instructions, because that base mode is trash.
Yep.
But yeah, so by far the best, Mark Watts. Yes. So good.
Absolutely.
So good.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. You got all the signatures too. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
I did get a bunch of signatures.
You got a bunch of signatures.
Manny Galan was there. He did the G2 comics. He did the inside art on some of issue 2 and then issue 3 through 12. There's like one other issue that he only did like half the book for, but he did most of the art, inside art with for the G2 comics. Mm-hmm. So got his autograph. Michael Bell on a G.I. Joe Renegades poster and some other Joes.
Talk about a source of stress there when you had him use your friend's pen. And then later on you're like, oh crap, I gave him the pen. Like, just go get it back. Just have to tell him you need it.
Yeah. So I had this silver marker and I thought I was done with it. As a marker that my buddy Mike gave me, or not gave me, but sent with me. Again, Mike likes to get new markers fairly often. So if somebody really likes a marker, he'll offer it, like I said. So had Michael Bell sign in stuff. And Michael Bell was like, this is a nice marker or whatever, or this writes real well or something. And so after he was done, I was like, do you want this pen? And he goes, he like jerked it back real quick, even though I wasn't reaching for it. He just like jerked it back real quick. And he goes, nobody ever gives me anything. I'll take it. He's a pretty funny guy. And then I realized I had two posters, my Armada poster and my buddy Mike's Armada poster, to get signed by Doug Parker. It's like, oh, I forgot these. And yeah, Justin's like, just go up and ask Michael Bell. He'll be fine. And it was.
You're literally going to the booth next door. You could be like, look, you can watch the pen.
And so I walked up and I was like, so, yeah, that pen I gave you, I have 2 more signatures, and he just picked it up before I could even finish and just handed it over to me. I was like, I'll bring it right back. So that was cool. Michael Bell's always really cool. I've met him a handful of times, and he's always very funny and very cool. He was looking a little rough, in my opinion.
I agree.
I mean, he's 86.
Yeah.
The fact that he's still going to conventions, but he's a little hunched over, was walking a little slow.
Yeah.
So amazing to see him out at a show. And apparently he did VoltCon, the Voltron convention, literally the weekend before.
Yeah.
That was in Indianapolis,
cool.
I believe. So yeah, he's still out doing it at 86, which kudos to him. I don't know if I'll be alive at 86, let alone wanting to go out and meet a bunch of people I've never met before,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that was cool. Yeah, but it was a great time. Got to meet Justin
Mm-hmm.
in person finally.
Good times.
Good times. Met a lot of good people. Joe S. was there. I met him back at Orlando, but it's good seeing him again. The Wolverine. I don't know his name. Logan something.
No, it was Wade.
Yeah.
Just kidding. His name was Logan, but he went through the whole story, and he's like, and people were like, were your parents fans of Wolverine? Which is a totally weird question, but I'm like, well, that's it. I'm going to remember you by Wade now.
Eric B. A lot of good people. Got to meet Bobby Skullface finally. And, it was a great show.
You know who wasn't there? Fucking Robert, because he was busy giving handy somewhere again.
Yeah, so. Yeah. His new glory hole.
Yeah.
Is really taking up a lot of his time, but apparently he's doing well with it. So
yeah, I mean, doesn't charge anything. It's pro bono work.
It's pro boner work.
That's right.
So so what did you get this week?
Well, thank you for asking, sir. The first and most exciting thing I got this whole week outside of the trip to TFCon was $125 for the Titans Arc, that piece of shit. Because I'm like, hey, you want to sell this for me? And he's like, yeah, sure. So it sold like right away, which was totally wild. Like, this TFCon was crazy. I've been to a couple of them, but like this is the first time that I felt like all the tables were like picked over before the general like non-VIP members got a choice to come in. They're like the premium tickets, you know what I mean? Like it was like 11 o'clock and like your buddy's table was like pretty hit hard, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's wild. And like even Toy Dojo and them were like had like a pretty significant dent in their stuff, and like, holy crap, it's still an hour until the general admission is allowed in, like it's wild. So yeah, I saw my my Titan Arc there. And I picked up the Bingo Toy Spider Lady, which Robert talked about, and she's pretty cool. She looks awesome. Transformation is pretty simple and straightforward, but she looks cool. I really like her. I think they did a good job there.
Beautiful paint on it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, she's gorgeous looking. They painted it so well. So, I picked up the Legacy, whatever, basically the Missing Link Optimus Prime, but like in the Legacy line. And he's cool. He's easy to transform. I think I want to give him a bunch of paint though, like chrome out his wheels and his grill and stuff like that. I think he just looked cool that way. He's a fun transformer, easy to transform. Weird he comes with 2 guns and the axe and rubber tires and all that stuff. Like he's got a surprisingly large amount of things going on for him, but he's such, like we were talking, he's such a weird release, right? Like he doesn't fit anything. Like he doesn't have, there's no more G1 inspired toys like this, and I mean, yet there's probably going to be a Bumblebee, right? Like it's probably going to happen.
I wonder if the Deluxe Bumblebee that came out, I know it's Studio Series 86, and this was not, this was Legacy. But it maybe it can go with this. It's what's weird about it is that Deluxe Prime is small. He's smaller than small. G1.
Yeah.
I have a feeling, we were talking about this, I think you agreed that he might look really good with the Earthrise trailer, because the Earthrise trailer is too small for the Earthrise Voyager Prime.
Yeah. Yeah, which I keep meaning to check that out, see if it would work.
Yeah. But it is weird because it's like, what was this meant to go with? It kind of works with the Bumblebee, but not
it's
really.
It's really strange, and like he's for all purposes, he's got decent paint apps. Like, you know, they could have done more, but like I feel like for Hasbro quote unquote deluxe, there's a lot of paint apps on him, and like all his tires, and he's got rubber tires first of all, right? Like, so like, well, when the hell has Hasbro put a rubber tire on something since RID, I think, right?
I want to say there might have been another legacy release, maybe the Beachcomber.
Maybe.
I'll try to look that up. Go on.
But so like, when have they done that? Then like the front wheels are pinned, the back wheels are kind of like modern Transformer wheels where they have like that mushroom peg, but at least they're inward facing, so they look fantastic. You know, like there's a bunch of pins in him that like I don't feel like Hasbro does that. Like his thighs are pinned, like toes are pinned, elbow is pinned. Like there's a lot of pins on this guy. I'm like, what Hasbro doing? You know?
Is this Hasbro?
Yeah, like what's going on? Why did you put the extra love and care? And like, yeah, he has 2 guns. They didn't have to do 2 guns, but they did like, oh, well, when you got G1 Prime, you got the skinny. Some people got the skinny gun, and some people got the fat gun. So now you got both, the skinny and the fat gun. And they're like, yeah, you know, it turns into a table. You know, like
it's a no-brainer. You need both guns.
So when he comes with the axe, and you know, I do wonder if there's a trailer that would work for him. You know, just because he is pretty small. But yeah, he's pretty good. You know, still got the typical Hasbro waffles, but there's nothing you're gonna do to get away from that, really. But he's okay, you know, like he's okay for what he is. Did I pay a little more for him than I probably would have wanted to? Because I got him at a con, of course, you know. But like,
how much was he? Wasn't he 25?
He was 30 there, so you know, it wasn't a bad markup by any means, but.
Yeah, you would have paid 25 in tax.
Exactly. I wanted to mess with it, and I was like, fine, I'll do 30. It's fine. So I picked him up. He's cool. I picked up 2 of the Blokees for my kids, and they got Thundercracker and Nemesis Prime. Which Dan, he got Grimlock, and Grimlock lights up, and I was like, well, what the hell series is that? Because the Series 1 and 2 don't have any of that light stuff, like the one that he got. So I guess he must have got an even newer wave or something. But they were fun. They're fun to put together. And when I got back to my house from TFCon, actually, the Jazz I had ordered from like AliExpress or something, because I'm like, I just want one of these, not a bunch of these. Jazz showed up, and he's cool. He was fun to put together. And the last thing I wanted, which was, well, I guess last toy thing I wanted, was I wanted to get a Rodimus, a Kingdom Rodimus, because I've just always heard like decent things about him. Like, you know, like Hasbro actually cares about Rodimus. Oh my god, you know, like, all right, well, I want to check this thing out, right? And so I was looking around, and like every booth at TFCon, it was like, I think they had like one was like 120, like 140 with the box, like all like over $100, and you know, similar to the Sludge story. We're just walking around, and like there's this one booth over, and not really the corner, but you know, he's got this like booth that is got like walls up and stuff, so you had to like walk into it and stuff like that. And just like there in the corner in a bag is the Kingdom Rodimus. I'm like, huh, how much is that? What was it, like 60, 65 bucks? I can't remember.
$60.
Yeah, $60.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm like, that's a damn good price. And this guy's like, yeah, he's like, I like to, you know, do the fair market on things, and you know, I think that's fair. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, you this was like even before like the first day the dealer room opened, you know, like people were still saying, I'm like, you ready for me to buy this now, or like you want to hold this and I'll come back for it in a little bit? And he's like, yeah, I'll sell it now. So picked it up, and he's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed him, and I started thinking about it a while. I'm like, why the hell did this guy sell the Rodimus so early and think that, or sell it so low and think that $60 was fair? And then I started browsing eBay, because like, you know, the trailer could use the little parts to hold it closed a little better and stuff like that. I was looking, and I saw the Power of the Primes Rodimus, and he's going for like 50 to 60. I'm like, Oh, I'm like, did this guy think that he sold that Prime and priced it wrong? I'm like, I don't know, but too late now. And yeah, I'm okay with it. So he's a lot of fun. I really like him. You know, he's not perfect by any means, but he's definitely a fun Transformer, I would say. It was interesting putting him next to the Studio Series 86 Prime, both of which have pretty much the same price tag. I am totally happy with it for $60. I don't think I'd be quite as happy with it if I had ended up paying like $120, $140 for it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, he's a good toy. I like him. If you like Rodimus, you know, he's a good toy. So I got him. Of course, I went to the con. I was super excited about getting Peter Cullen and Frank Welker's autograph. Unfortunately, Peter Cullen was sick, so I only got Frank Welker's autograph. And I will say one of my favorite parts of the con was just standing in line for 2 hours with Rich here, as we were just like thinking of all the things that we could maybe get Frank Welker to put on the poster before all our hopes were dashed, and they turned out to just be like, nope, you can, it's autograph only, no personalization. I'm like, aw, you know, like we're like, what quote should we put on here? Can we get him to do a quote? Like he wouldn't even write Frank Welker Megatron, which I feel is kind of like shit. They should have let him. They should have been able to be like Frank Welker Megatron, right? But whatever. But yeah, we had so much fun. Just like every possible quote that was to something that like Megatron never said or whatever. You know, like we were just kind of listing all as stupid of things that we could put on there as if we didn't know what was going on. So that was a lot of fun for 2 hours roughly that we were standing in line.
Yeah.
So I got
plus
that.
Super Mario.
Yeah. If you're listening, Super Mario guy, like, don't be so creepy. There was this dude,
also don't murder us.
And he was like, Rich is a big guy. Like he's taller than me by like, you know, a good like 7 inches, I would say, something like that. Like you're a lot taller than me. And this guy was probably about Rich's size, dressed in a Super Mario outfit at a Transformers convention.
Head to toe, including white gloves.
Yeah, white gloves, the like hat, the gloves. Red shirt, the overalls, the boots, and like we're just like Rich and I are just sitting there talking. This guy walks up and what were you getting signed? It was what were you getting signed?
I was getting signed Sergeant Flash from G.I. Joe.
Right. And then what else did you had? You had Prime Soundwave.
Soundwave from Prime. Yeah.
It's like Prime Soundwave was just really weird. Like it's the one like where he had the least voice, and I'm like, dude, like back the fuck up. Like
yeah, and he just like steps in line.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and he was doing this weird like 1-2 step to just get in front of us.
And he kept like taking a little half step, like he was trying to push in front of me, too. And then he started asking us questions. He's like, because they had 2 lines, and the way they did the lines wasn't like side by side. It was like they had a line, and then they had a giant gap, like 40 feet, and then another line. It almost looked like there was just a break in the line to like let people get through to the doors or something, but it was actually a separate line.
Yeah, it was,
the other line was for the
pretty
photos.
Weird, and he kept doing this weird like step to try to get in front. Like I don't understand what the hell he was doing.
It's very strange.
And he was asking like questions to the TFCon staff about like things like, and then like just like trying to get in front again. You know, like what the fuck are you doing? You know.
Yeah. He kept asking people in line the questions too. He's like, "Can I exchange an autograph ticket for a photo ticket?" And I'm like, I don't know. Ask one of the people. There's a person right there, like 10 feet away. That person works for TFCon. Ask her.
Yeah.
He goes, and then he asked the person in front of us and the person behind us. And then he just kept trying to push in line. Like, dude, what are you doing? Take your rotting mushroom smell somewhere else. Because he did not. He had the serious con funk going on, too.
It was weird. It was
very weird.
It was very strange. Mario guy, like, stop it. Seriously, that was too weird.
That was so bizarre.
Yeah. So I obviously didn't get the Peter Cullen because Peter Cullen wasn't there. So what did I decide to do? I'm like, well, let's go to eBay. Like, just like total whim. I'm like, well, maybe someone's got a Peter Cullen on a clear sheet or something, and I can pick that up from him and I'll I'll put that. That'll be fine. And what do I stumble upon? Someone has a Funko Pops window panel. That's all it is. Just the window panel for a Funko Pop, not the actual Funko Pop. I'm like, oh. So I picked it up. I'm like, all right. I'm like, $30. That's fine. You know, I was about to pay, what was it, like $140 for the autograph or something? Like, yeah, what's $30? So
I think it was 75.
Was it?
For the autograph. Plus there was tax. It ended up being
you're right. Yeah.
bucks, 81, 82.
Yeah. So I was like, what's $30? You know, like, fine, who cares? $30, I'll go with it. And so I got it and slid it into my frame with the Frank Welker. And I'm like, it looks good. I'm okay with that for now. I would like to get my picture signed by Peter Cullen, but God forbid Peter Cullen is not doing well. And, you know, I don't get the opportunity. This will be okay. So I'm happy with that. So that is. Did I get anything else at the con? I don't think I got anything else at the con. I got the Prime or the Transformers 1 Optimus and Bumblebee poster, courtesy of Rich. Did I get anything else?
Somebody brought you a Jazz.
Oh yeah, I got a Jazz and I got a Trailbreaker, I believe.
from the 5-pack.
Yeah,
that was from that Autobot 5-pack.
So that was cool. I'll take that. That was neat. Is that it? Is that everything I got? I think that's everything I got. Looking around, I don't see anything else that I got. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's what I got. So it was a good time. I loved it. I would be happy to go and hang out with Rich again. It was a fantastic time. And I will say, if you are ever at a con and have a chance to follow Rich around as he's talking to all the autograph people, like, please do. Like, it's just so interesting, the conversations he has. I'm like, dude, we need to get people on the podcast because you're talking to them. Like, you would be so interesting. You know, all these like interesting stories and all this stuff. Like, yeah, it's it's a gift. It honestly is a gift. So
I see. I don't see it. I just ask them questions that I think are interesting, or bring things up that I happen to know from talking to others or behind the scenes stuff.
But see, that's
usually
what's so
that gets them
like,
talking.
I don't know any of that shit, and then like to hear hear them like break into discussion about whatever. Like, wow, that's super cool. Like, super cool. So I don't know. I stick by my statement. You have a gift for it. So.
Well, so there was a fun one that came up with Doug Parker that I just remembered.
Mm-hmm.
So Doug Parker, of course, was Pterosaur in Beast Wars, and he was also Tidal Wave in Armada and Energon. And he also went on to do voice directing for a long time. So he did the voice directing for Operation Dragonfire, which is the first 5 episodes of the Deke series of G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought the scripts. I have copies of the scripts that Douglas Booth,
mm-hmm.
Who was the writer for Operation Dragonfire, had put up for auction, and they were signed by him. So I have all 5 days. So I brought those for him. And we were talking about those. And the last time I saw Doug Parker, he had mentioned the first thing he said when I brought up Operation Dragonfire, he was like, oh, that was such a great project to work on. He's like, I got to work with 2 legends, Maurice LaMarche and Chris Latta. And he's like, Chris Latta was just, you know, nobody could touch that voice. And of course he was Cobra Commander and, you know, Starscream. We all know this. He's a legend. And he's like, Maurice LaMarche, for maybe those who don't know, he was 6-shot in G1,
mm-hmm.
who 6-shot, you know, Metroplex's little guy. He had 1, maybe 2 lines in 1 episode, and that was it. There's a story behind that too. But Maurice LaMarche is also Brain from Pinky and the Brain.
Mm-hmm.
And he just does, he's in Futurama. He does just a ton of voices. And so Doug Parker was like, oh yeah. And Maurice LaMarche, he's like, you just turn to him and go, I need this voice. And he just does it. He's just amazing. He's like Canadian Frank Welker, you know, like, so I mentioned that. I brought that up to him while he's signing these Operation Dragonfire scripts. And, you know, he's like, where did you get these? And we're chatting, and I told him, and then he goes, yeah, actually, because I said, so you guys did this all as like a big group recording, right? He goes, yeah, we did, except for Chris Latta and Marisa Marsh, because those two were so busy. I just recorded with them typically in the mornings for an hour or two each. Just me and Chris or me and Maurice. And everybody else, though, was like an ensemble cast, and we all recorded together. And then he goes, yeah, we recorded those in the famous, and he said the name of the studio. I don't remember it. Do you?
No,
T2?
I don't remember.
Okay. He said the name of the studio. He goes, yeah, the famous blah, blah, blah studio in Vancouver. And he goes, of course, Vancouver in the early 90s was where a bunch of rock bands had like a bunch of 80s bands and 70s bands had their like sort of second coming. He's like, Aerosmith was up there recording, and I got to meet those guys, and they're super cool. And he named some other bands, and then he goes, Poison. Do you know Poison? And I'm like, yeah, I know Poison. Bret Michaels, all that. And he goes, yeah. He goes, so those guys were up there recording. And I start talking with them. They're like, what are you working on? I tell them, yeah, I'm working on this G.I. Joe thing. And they're like, that is so cool. And then he goes, so I turn to him and I go, you guys want to be in it? And they're like, yeah. So he recorded Poison, the band members from Poison, and he did a bunch of B-roll stuff with them. So like when there's like shouting or there's like a crowd or there's people going, yo, Joe, yeah, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Some of that is the band members of Poison. Only in Operation Dragonfire, but there you go.
Yeah,
that's a fun
cool
little
fact.
That's a cool little fact. Like I never would have guessed.
Mm-hmm.
The rock band, and he said that they didn't want anything for it, no credit, no, they want to get paid. They just thought it was the coolest thing that they're in a G.I. Joe cartoon. Mm-hmm. Not any named characters, just background B-roll stuff, shouts, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So very cool.
And then he was really excited when you had him sign something. And who was it? The two actors that he's like, where were they together? And like, had you like call your friend to ask? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the ongoing story with Doug Parker. The first time I met Doug Parker was 2022, I think, in Toronto. And there was nobody at his desk or his table, so I talked to him. And I'd just gotten a couple of the Operation Dragonfire scripts then, but I didn't bring them because I didn't have all 5, and I actually forgot the couple that I had. The other ones were in like shipping to me. I didn't have them in hand. But I was talking to him, and I said, man, we really need to get like a Beast Wars reunion, And he's like, oh, yeah, that'd be awesome. And he starts talking about all the people, and he goes, actually, I just talked to Lee Tokar. Lee Tokar was Ravage in Beast Wars season 2. And he goes, yeah, I just talked to Lee. I was like, oh, that's cool. He goes, yeah, Lee would love to come out. He goes, actually, you want to hear a voicemail from Lee Tokar? I'm like, yeah. So here Doug Parker pulls his cell phone out, logs into his voicemail, and plays this on speakerphone, voicemail that Lee Tokar left him. And it's like, hey, Dougie, it's Lee Tokar. How you doing? Hey, I heard you're at a Transformer convention this weekend. Man, that's so cool. I want to do one of those. We should hang out sometime. And then at the end, Lee Tokar just goes, the whole line, that famous line where he's like, Decepticons forever. I can't do the voice, as the Ravage voice. And then he's like, all right, have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Like, how cool is that? I got to hear this voice actor's personal, voicemail from another voice actor. So the second time, I got all that stuff signed by Doug Parker, and I'd forgotten the Armada posters, mine and my buddy Mike's, because he did Tidal Wave. And that's where I had to go back to Michael Bell, borrow the pen back. Mm-hmm. So I go to Doug Parker, and I'm like, I forgot to get these yesterday. And he goes, oh, okay. And he starts looking at the posters, and he's like, where do you want me to sign? So I point out this part on the bottom, and he's like, well, he starts signing. He goes, oh man, when did you see Matt Hill? And I'm trying to think the other guy's name. It's Matt Hill, Sam Vincent. He's like, when did you see Matt Hill and Sam Vincent? And one of them was Sideways, and one of them was Carlos, I think, the one human from Armada and Energon. He goes, when did you meet these guys? And I was like, I'm not sure, because I have a couple friends who we kind of trade stuff around to get signed. Just like I was getting my buddy Mike's poster signed at TFCon Baltimore. He was the one who went to Planet Funk Con in Iowa back in June. He had gone there and gotten my Armada poster signed along with his. And so I told him, I was like, I can't quite remember. I think they were at the same show. I said, I can ask my buddy. And he goes, yeah, I'd love to connect with those guys. And, I cast both of them in Ed, and Eddie. I was the voice director for that. I'm like, how cool is that, And so I'm like, all right, hold on. So I start messaging my buddy Mike, and he starts messaging me. And then it's like he calls, and I start talking to him, and he's like, yeah, that was Planet FunkCon. I actually know the one guy who runs that convention. And he starts telling, and I'm like, hold on. Wait a second. There's nobody at Doug Parker's table still. And I go, do you want to just talk to Doug Parker? He goes, yeah. So I turn to Doug, and I'm like, I got my friend on the phone. He can tell you all about this convention. He goes, okay, cool. So I put my buddy on speakerphone, and here we are listening in, and they're having this whole conversation. And he's like, yeah, I know the guy who runs it, and he gets those guys up there all the time, I guess. And he's like, oh, that's so cool. And then my buddy Mike goes, I could get you in touch with him. And he goes, yeah, that'd be great. So then Doug Parker put his 2 email addresses down on this print that he had. And what I thought was funny, I don't know if you noticed this, but when he went to put he put his 2 emails and then, put his name, these are the emails for, Doug Parker. He actually signed his name, which I thought was kind of funny. I wouldn't sign my name if I was, because you can't read my handwriting. I would have I'd spell it out, But anyway, I thought that was funny. So I've met Doug Parker twice, and both times have involved getting on somebody's phone to listen to something or make a call or, So.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
Like I said,
good times.
Super interesting.
Yeah. And to add to that story a little bit, so yesterday at Motor City Con, one of the people I went to go see was Brian Drummond. Brian Drummond, the big thing he's really famous for outside of Transformers is Death Note. He was one of the U.S. I don't remember which character. He might have been the Demon's voice. I can't remember. Anyway, that's one of his big things that he's super famous for is the U.S. dub of Death Note. But also he was Blur in Armada. And he was in Beast Machines. He was Thrust. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Beast Machines is his first voice role too. But so I had the Armada poster there.
Oh, yeah,
and my buddy Mike was actually there with me, so we were both there. We each had our Armada poster now, and he saw Sam Vincent and Matt Hill, and he goes, "Oh man, you got the other 2 Eddies on here," because I think Brian Drummond was also an Ed, and Eddie. I don't think he was one of the Eds, but then he goes, "Oh, and you got Doug Parker. When did you see Doug Parker?" And my buddy Mike looks at me, and I was like, "Last weekend at TFCon Baltimore." And he goes, "Holy crap!" He goes, "I just had dinner last night with the TFCon, the people who run TFCon." And my buddy Mike goes, "Colin?" He goes, "Yeah, Colin and his wife and some other folks." So the guys who run TFCon were at Motor City Con this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah, and we actually
Scouting
saw
out voice actors for next year.
They must have been, because all those Death Note guys, Alessandro Giuliani, I think is his name. He was he's in Death Note. He was Lieutenant Gaeta in Battlestar Galactica, the sci-fi series, and he was also Night Scream in Beast Machines.
Oh yes, terrible.
Terrible. It's kind of a terrible character, if I'm being honest, but. He's super cool. I met him and got a Night Scream sign. He's a super nice guy. But so the Celebworks company was there, and that's one of the people who supplies a bunch of the Transformer voice actors for TFCon. So we were talking to him about LA and such, because TFCon LA has a Transformers Prime and Robots in Disguise 2015 theme. So that's who they're going to try and pull a bunch of voices for.
Interesting.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
It's funny how that all tied together. Even Brian Drummond yesterday. So I went, today's Monday, I went on Sunday. Brian Drummond was like, "Hey, look at these names you just got." Or when did you see these? So this is fun stuff. Interesting stories and Mark Watts still takes the cake, though.
Mark Watts definitely takes the cake.
So, anyway,
So,
enough
all
about
right.
TF.
Well, Robert, did you get anything? Semen to the eye? All right, never mind. Anyway, on to some movie and show news. So, rest in peace, Candyman. So, this is, who is this?
Tony Todd.
Tony Todd, who was the voice of The Fallen, Transformers Prime, Dreadwing, as well as many other roles. So,
Sad
he
news.
has
The
passed
original
on.
Candyman, not the recent remake.
Yeah. So that's sad.
Sad
So,
news.
Rest in peace. Never want to see anybody go, but we all have our time, right? So,
Indeed.
anything else? No. We'll just move on.
And that's it.
Let's
it
be
for him.
less swollen and let's go to, we could just basically call third-party news the death of a third-party panel. We're going to start with this. So, we were in line for our first Frank Welker when this went on. So, we did not see this. I have not looked at any of this stuff either. So, we're going to go through it. We'll start at the beginning. If we've seen something, we're just going to skip it. So, OF Defense, they've got looks like a Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. Sort of. I mean, like, it's not really the Fall of Cybertron Grimlock alt mode, really. Like, it's very different looking T-Rex, but it's definitely Fall of Cybertron Grimlock, right, in robot mode.
Oh, yeah. I think,
So.
yeah. I'm not sure what scale this is.
Yeah, I don't know. Looks kind of small, but looks can be deceiving, right? Like, we don't have anything to look at it with. Like if you look at those little joints on the leg there, they look like they could be small. I mean, like, I wouldn't expect a bigger toy to have a joint like that at the bottom of the leg, looking like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? I mean, it could be small, or it could be just a crappy design.
Looking at the pins and, like, the sword handle, I'm guessing that sword and his fists, which don't articulate, are probably 5mm ports. So I'm wondering if this is meant to be
like
scaled with the current figures they're coming out with in mainline.
Maybe.
The other video game figures, like the Prime and the Megatron and the Decepticon
I could see that.
clone or whatever. Yeah.
But I think if you're going to do that, and correct me if I'm wrong, just go and get the old Fall of Cybertron Grimlock that came out. Like, you can't possibly be that expensive anymore.
I don't know. I wonder how much he is. But, I mean, Planet X, theirs are fairly well-sized for that, too, aren't they? And they have pretty good figures.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, so, like, some of the details, like, the details on the shield look cool. The chest details, they look cool. But, like, nothing on this is just, like, mind-blowing to me. Like, oh, my God, I need this Grimlock. Like, yeah. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what this ends up being scale-wise, but I think you might be right. It does look like it might be. Oh, my God. And it's a dinosaur mode. Look at the huge waffles they have in the legs there. Like, that, to me, is a huge no-no for a third party.
I mean, you got to fit in with mainline, right? You don't want it to look too good.
You might be right. Oh, God, and his teeth. The teeth of the dinosaur mode look awful. He looks like he's got, like, I know it's a 3/4 perspective, but it almost looks like he's got the weird, like, middle tooth at the top there. Like, just because of how it is. Like,
I see it.
He's got, like, the Tom Cruise tooth that's just, like, right in the center almost. But I don't know. This is weird. I don't dig it, really. But whatever. Mechanic Studio has... I don't know what this is. It kind of looks like it's what's his name? Demolisher? Is it Demolisher from Armada?
Yeah, it's Armada Demolisher, okay. And it's in Legend scale.
Yeah. Well,
to go with their Starscream.
That's cool. Yeah, he looks fine. So I don't know if I love the details on the joints, but, like, I think if it's Legend scale, you have to give it some concessions. I hope they do better with the screws. Like, there's a lot of screws that are huge, and I know you see them on Starscream, but I don't feel like they're nearly as prevalent as they seem to be on Demolisher. Like, Demolisher's like, screw on the gun, screw on the crotch, screw on the top of the leg, screw on the bottom of the leg, screws on the knees, you know? Like,
And this guy is screwed.
yeah, screws on the inside, screws on the outside. He's fine. And then I guess this is their Starscream, right?
Yeah. I think this looks, I mean, obviously we don't have color pictures, but for a Legend scale Demolisher, I think this looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I like the hands.
It's not
the
terrible.
hands are always kind of doofy and they kind of do, it's hard to see them a little bit, but it looks like they gave a little bit of articulation to the hands so they don't look quite dead and goofy.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, especially in a Legend scale.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think for a Legend scale, it'll be okay. And I think the Starscream looks pretty sharp overall.
Yeah, my buddy has a Starscream and it's a nice figure.
Yeah. So, Newage had their actual Megatron at TFCon, so that was something that was cool to see. And
yeah,
that's
the
one
chug
that's
scale
supposed
Megatron.
to kind of scale with. Now it's not scaling with the Studio Series 86 Prime. It scales with that Voyager that they did, which is a little bit sad because the Studio Series 86 is just a better Prime, but this is cool. I kind of wish they had made him just bigger, and it just kind of ended up incidentally working that way because, like, I don't really think it's a big deal if Prime is or if Megatron is bigger than Prime, but
I agree. Yeah, they scaled him with the Earthrise Prime to get a leg up on getting him out to be out with the Series 86.
And
so unfortunately, that
86
means
is bigger,
he's short. Yeah.
But he's super good looking. Like, it was a
it
really
looks
good looking version of the toy. So
yeah, they had a full color, I guess, ready for release figure.
Yeah, like it.
And it looks like a mini masterpiece. It looks like a Voyager sized masterpiece.
It's really
impressive.
sharp looking. Yeah, I kind of want to pick it up, but I kind of don't. Like, I don't know. Yeah, what's the price of this guy? Do we know?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Because I have a Studio, or not the Studio Series. I have the Voyager Earthrise Prime, and at this point, since my son is not into Transformers like he was, probably not getting the Studio Series 86 Prime, which I got to mess with that at TFCon because Mr. Rich brought it with him. And it's a fantastic toy, but I think I dodged myself a bullet. If my son was interested, he'd be like, can you transform it to this? Can you transform it to that? Like, oh boy. He's a little not quick enough to do it that I wouldn't feel like I'm just sitting there spending my day transforming him. He's a good toy.
So New Age Megatron on Show Z is $104.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
That's not
especially
bad
when you consider
the size and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
for a third-party figure that's about the size, almost the same height as the Studio Series Prime.
Yeah, it's not horrible.
It's not terrible. Yeah. Looks like they have a toy version coming out too.
Yeah.
The EX is the toy here. The next few slides.
Yeah, interesting. So, I'm okay with this. I think that this is a fantastic toy. I'll be interested to see reviews.
I wish it came with a silencer in his stock. That's the only thing that's missing.
Yeah, I wonder how much they would end up charging if they did that, though. Is my only question. You know, like, I feel like the reason he's like 110 is because you're not getting all that other stuff too. So.
Yeah, I feel like it should though, especially with the toy version.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. So this is good. More of the stuff. He looks really good, and I like that he's an actual gun, and he looks good too. So, that was my favorite one because my poster is a picture of Optimus Prime holding Megatron, in gun mode, and I just wanted, like, so much of me wanted. Well, my two favorites that we landed on in line were, I love the way you pull my trigger, Optimus. I like that, and then because it's Frank Welker, we also, and my wife really liked it. She's like, "Oh, you didn't get it?" I'm like, "They wouldn't let me." So, but we really liked. I would have got away with that Matrix if it weren't for those meddling Autobots, which is admittedly a lot to put on there. But I mean, come on, it's Frank Welker, right? So,
right.
Oh well, what can you do? Yeah. So let's move on. What is next? Okay. Oh, they have a toy version of this Megatron. That's cool. I don't think I would get it. Shit, what does he scale like with this Legacy Optimus Prime? Oh, man.
Oh, with the Legacy Optimus, he'd be way bigger. And that might actually look pretty good.
Yep, I'd have to do that. All right, well, maybe toy version with his little chest hair and his chromed out gun, because it looks good.
If you have if you have Earthrise Prime, you could just stand him up next to that Legacy Deluxe Prime, because he is the same height as that, as the Earthrise.
It's a good idea. So, just to see where we'll wind up there. Yeah, that might not be a bad option, actually. So, we'll see. I'll check that out later, personally. But, I think that's what I do. So, we've seen Newage Warpath, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll skip him. I like his blast effect. Why didn't you put any goddamn fire effects in with your toy version of your Dinobots? I don't know. But more blast effects are cool with me. Gears. Have we seen Gears? I don't know if we've seen Gears.
I don't know that we've seen Gears.
Yeah.
I think we saw an announcement for Gears, but I don't know that we saw pictures yet.
Yeah.
He looks great.
I think he looks great in both modes. I think the whole cartridge in the chest thing was kind of unnecessary. And it doesn't really look very good with the swivel piece on there, but whatever. I don't ever have to open it. I just don't feel like it necessarily needed paint with the big swivel blocking out half of it. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Feels unnecessary, but whatever. So
it's on the other hand, I think it's kind of cool that they were able to fit that into a Legend scale, but yeah, I would agree. It's unnecessary. If they would have said, no, we didn't do this, I'd have been like, okay, that's fine. It's a tiny figure.
I mean, it's fine. It's just that, like, because you put the big armature in there, it's like, well, it kind of loses what it's intended to do, right? Like, it's like if you put a matrix in Optimus Prime's chest, or, like, carved one in, but, like, there was a big, some kind of hinge on it or something. Yeah, like, it just wouldn't look right. So it's kind of like my theory on it is, like, it's fine, but it doesn't do anything necessarily for me. But whatever. It doesn't take away from anything either, I guess. And then, of course, you get Swerve, and Swerve looks great too.
Yep.
I kind of wish he wasn't such glossy red paint, maybe, but whatever. I'm not going to complain about it. You know, Newage always has the best looking figures with their paint and stuff, so I probably shouldn't be bitching about the paint. Iacon 3D Labs has Tyrannosaurus Throne, which is just it's a Grimlock throne for, like, your Legend scale things. So I think I saw that there, and it's interesting. They've got little sword racks on the back, so you can get all Game of Thrones with it. So that's fun. Our
cool.
command center, just like a little sitting at the console in the Arc. Looks like you got a little lever that moves. If you're into building the dioramas, like, I guess it's cool, right? Like, all these little extra pieces. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
I think it's cool that if you look at the one picture where you've got Prime in the little capsule and stuff,
yeah,
you can see Wheeljack standing in front of, like, a display with a bunch of stuff pegged into it. I think it's cool that they're putting little spots to hold all the little...
Agreed.
You know, like, there's the immobilizer, that thing from that episode, and all those little things.
Yeah.
I think that's cool that Iacon Labs is doing that. So now you don't have to have a baggie with a bunch of crap in it. You can store it on your little Arc set. So I like that they're doing this.
That part I agree with. I like the little place for the thing that you got there. So.
And if you look, that display that Wheeljack is standing in front of, it's hard to see in the one picture, but if you go to the one where it's more... almost on level with them, it looks like there's a little door in the front that opens.
Yeah, like it opens
more
or slides out or something.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
That's cool. Their
cool
stuff looks fantastic in person.
Yeah, they really did. So, that's another thing I got. I got the non-F Turtle Van upgrade kit, which I didn't want it for the head, but I was sold on the fact that A, it had filler panels, and B, it gave him a 3-fingered hand instead of the 5 fingers that the Hasbro had sculpted on there, and that's all I needed to be sold.
Yeah.
It was only like $7-8, something like that. So,
yeah, it was pretty cheap.
I'm like, whatever. I can buy this
cool.
without the head. So
How cool are the hands?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, what a nice little touch that
Right.
you wouldn't have really thought. He
I
doesn't
think
need
when we
big
reviewed it, I'm
hands.
like, this is cool. I have 3D print in my head, but this is cool. And then it's like, oh, he's got 3 fingers. I'm like, all right, now I need it. Because it's just enough. So yeah, I was okay with that. So I picked that up. Anyway, what's next? So they have Arc and Nemesis display riser. So it just looks like, I guess some boxes for your Legends figures to stand on. It looks like they may open too to store stuff inside. So
Yeah.
And I don't know the accessory stands. I guess that's just like a little stand to store a gun or something on. So that's cool. It doesn't hurt if that's what you want to do with it. That's cool. Iron Factory. We've seen the what's his name?
Death Cobra.
Death Cobra. Yep, that's it. We've seen him.
I don't know what his Iron Factory name is, but
the Lio Kaiser was also there. He looked really good too. In person.
Looks fantastic.
I don't know what all the black things off of the back are, but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't hate it either. Actually, what's interesting is because I didn't really, they had it there with the black things. I don't know, did they have the Jet on there or did they have Death Cobra on there? I don't know. It's interesting that it's like, and if you put Death Cobra on, then the Jet just pegs onto the back like a jetpack. So.
I mean, that's cool. At least there's somewhere for him to go since he was,
I am totally fine with it.
Yeah.
So, and then they have this flaming thing. I'm assuming it's supposed to be the Fallen, perhaps. It looks kind of.
Yeah,
Fallen,
I think it's their new Fallen. The Fallen.
He looks neat. I don't like his horn head. I don't think, but the rest of it looks cool. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
looks
like
pretty badass. I'm not
It
sure which iteration of the Fallen this is. I don't know if it's the old Dreamwave or something else. It's interesting with the horns, but yeah, it looks cool.
And then next blast from the past is TFC Toys, who apparently is still putting out toys, and there's a Sinner Twin coming out. A Sinner Twin, right? No, what's the name of the dragon guy?
This is Hunger.
Hunger, that's right. So there's Hunger, and this set I could have sworn was completed years ago, and apparently it's not. So
yeah,
there you go.
Set.
Yeah, it's fine, but it's TFC. Nobody buys TFC anymore, and he's not scaled with any of the modern combiners. Which I will say, having sat there and looked at the MMC offerings, I didn't hate the MMC scale, honestly, as much as I kind of did when I first was looking at it. I'm like, yeah, it's not bad. So this would scale with that, but yeah. Craftsman Toys giving you all kinds of wrenches and shit. Craftsman Toys is which company? Zeta, I think. Is it Zeta?
I don't know if we know who they are.
Okay. So they are showing a Computron. I'm pretty sure I thought they said it was a Zeta Computron.
Oh, there's another Computron. This is a
there
Legends
another
scale.
Computron? Oh, okay.
This is Legends. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Craftsman Toys is like, let's get right in on this Legends game and go with Computron. And it looks fine.
Yeah, we actually saw the Computron before, but we didn't see. I don't think we saw any color pictures. So it looks like they're drill horn. Not drill horn. That's Lio Kaiser.
I wanted to say
nose
Screwhead,
cone.
but
Nose
cone. Nose cone. That's it. I wanted to say Screwhead. I'm like, no, that's Gobots.
That's Gobots. Yeah, so it looks like their nose cone is ready to come out.
Yeah, they look okay. I mean, honestly, all of these look pretty decent overall. Like the, goddamn, what is the motorcycle's name? Is Lightspeed's the car?
Lightspeed's the car. Strafe is the little jet.
Yeah.
Why am I blanking? That's hilarious.
I can't remember.
It's funny because the motorcycle's the only one I had as a kid. Let's look them up. Computron.
I mean, generally speaking, they all look good. I like how the torso bot is not
Afterburner.
Afterburner, that's right. And what's the main one?
Strafe.
Strafe. Okay. So I like if you look at they have nose cone and strafe together, and like they're not like horribly out of scale. Like it's not a situation where the torso bot is like so much bigger than
Sorry,
the other bot.
Strafe is the other arm.
Yeah, that's
the
what I
little
thought.
jet.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, Scattershot is the
Scattershot. That's it. Thank you. So, yeah. So like they have a picture of them standing. Motorcycle name I totally forgot it already. They have Afterburner. That's right. They have a picture of him next to Scattershot, and like they look decent. You know, like it's not like most of the other times when you see it. Like if you look at the MMC, for example, the Defensor, like the car bots are pretty small compared to Hotspot, right? Like and like this is pretty close. Like they're standing like just about at the shoulder height. You know, like it's not that huge of a difference. I think it looks good. So
yeah.
What's interesting, if you keep clicking through, you'll see eventually they show Scattershot in torso mode, which I can't unsee the screaming face with the 2 teeth on his chest now.
Right.
But if you look at the torso and then you go to the very next picture, you can kind of see that what they're doing here is the torso is all Scattershot from the abdomen up, and then the waist and thighs down to the knees, it's just like Zeta.
Yeah.
Like the Zeta or the Toy World Constructor and the Zeta Bruticus, how it has basically just pants.
Yeah.
And the pants look like they plug into Scattershot. And then the 2 leg bots plug into the knees of the pants. So they're obviously doing parts forming here. It's interesting. So you have feet, hand, and then just the crotch basically.
Yeah. But I don't hate it. I think it's
I don't either.
really good. So
yeah.
If these are priced right, I think I'd get them. So
yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see if we can find some. Go ahead and go on. I'll see if I can find the price on these.
All right, so we'll move on. I think this looks good. And yeah, Collection Space. They are doing a sexy woman Starscream, and that is just a complete pass to me. So I don't know why you go Starscream as opposed to like Slipstream first. I think Starscream as a girl, like if you were to give this in Slipstream colors, I don't think as a robot it looks horrible, right? It's got way too big of boobs for a robot, but whatever. It's fine. When you look at the jet is abysmal looking. Like it's like pieces that like it's like Gundam levels of making a jet, right? Like like it's so obvious it's a robot with like with some jet kibble slapped on it. I'm like, this isn't good. So I don't know.
Yeah, the jet is.
It's really
the jet.
lacking.
The jet looks like it would be a better Slipstream than a Starscream.
Oh, it would, but like so even this jet, I think like the cockpit looks terrible. I think they absolutely needed to do something. Like if you look at its picture 118, right? Like it almost looks like the nose cone of the jet comes up to a white cockpit before it transitions to the orange supposed to be cockpit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you see that? And it's like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, like I think if you colored it better, maybe it would look better. I don't know. I don't like this. I don't think they did a good job.
I think it's the panel work. If you look at that again, I'm clicking through but going back to 118, or actually, where's a better picture? Okay, 121. So if you look at 121, so you get like a 3/4 view. Mm-hmm. It looks to me like, and I know that this is like an alternate jet mode, right? Like the cockpit's a little different and the wings are flipped.
It kind of makes it look like a little bit of Tetrajetty in a way.
It does.
Yeah.
But I think the problem with the cockpit, okay, maybe 124 is another good one because it's back to the regular jet configuration. But I think the problem with the cockpit is it has the nose cone is it has
panel lining that suggests a cockpit.
Yes.
But then there's a cockpit.
Right. And you know what's weird about it is I'm like, well, clearly it's because it makes the chest of the Starscream chick, whatever. But no, if you look at 116, the whole back of the jet just hangs off of her back. Or the whole nose cone of the jet just hangs. So there's like literally no reason to have that yellow there. You could have made that yellow part black or white or anything and made that other piece the actual cockpit, and it would have looked good. But then they did this, and I don't get it. You know, like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know. This is not something like, unlike this, like, this is the type of thing, looking at it, like, it looks like it has the same hands or similar hands to the Spider Girl. Like, this has to be Bingo Toys, honestly. The faces look kind of similar, you know, like they for whatever reason the Spider Queen has the like tongue out face. Like, I don't know why we need that, but whatever. Like, if this comes out as a slipstream, maybe, but like, I don't like what you did with the jet. I think the jet looks terrible. So, and you know they're gonna come out with all the repaints where you'll get Thundercracker and all that stuff.
Absolutely. I do like the display stand. Do you see that? 127.
127.
The display stand is pretty simple, but it's got a little fold-out tray for all the parts.
That. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and that's a good idea. So, do it in slipstream colors and make the jet look better, and we'll talk. And also lose the boobs and make them look more like RC as opposed to human anatomy. You know, like, I don't know. I don't dig that.
So,
I don't like the aesthetic personally.
Listeners, take note. Justin does not like boobs.
Nah, I like boobs. I just don't like robots with boobs like that. That makes sense. So, make toys. Nobody cares. Iron Trans. Nobody cares. We've seen all these. And so now we have actual Bingo Toys. And Bingo Toys is like, hey, we have this minimally transforming spider. And we've done a wind blade. Fuck it. Let's go with a Computron. And I wish them all the luck. But at this point, none of their products scream like, yeah, you can have confidence in this. You know? Like, it's painted to the nines. It works for what you're doing, but like, literally, Wingblade is like, fold the chest up over her head, and it's a cockpit, and then fold her feet on the back of her, and there you go. It's a jet, you know? And like, the Spider Girl, like, fold her chest up over her head so it turns into the face of the spider, and then, you know, separate the legs and then fold the legs over her back, and that's a spider, you know? Like, I don't know how you're doing this with Computron, and they look fine, but I have zero confidence in these, and this is the type of thing that you're gonna have to, I'm gonna have to see reviews before I would even bite. I don't even know if I like the aesthetic, frankly. I think the strafe loses, like, the big defining feature of the strafe is like the two cannons that come off the front. He doesn't have it. He's just like a totally different looking jet, you know? Yeah, I don't know. They look fine enough, but yeah, I don't know. Do they look fine enough? Maybe they don't look fine enough. I'm looking at the scatter shot and like, oh, there's his knees. They're just folded downwards, and I guess what it makes? It's the back of the jet. And they're like, oh, okay. So you are doing Bingo Toy stuff here for the transformation. So I don't know.
Yeah, these they look too stylized to me.
Yeah, it's not the type of thing I would want. Yeah, it's really not what I would end up wanting out of a Computron. And again, it's like, I would rather you show me you can do one figure that transforms well before you're like, commit to 5 of them, you know, and go buy my table. So, and even Strafe, I'm looking at Strafe now, and he too is just like, his legs are just sitting there in the back. Like, it's like, you're just gonna fold them up and bam, legs just hang off the back. You're good, you know. Like, so how the hell are these guys combining? I don't.
And this is, I believe, they said that this is MP scale. Let's see if it's in the notes up here.
I believe that's correct.
I don't see it up here, but
I think I don't know. I mean, at the con, I believe someone mentioned.
I think so. Yeah.
Bingo Toys is doing MP Computron.
Yeah.
So.
Now, so again, I just looked up this Craftsman, by the way, nose cone.
Mhm.
On Show Z, the full price is unknown, but it says fourth quarter this year.
Okay.
But that has me thinking that, let's see, Chosen Prime. Let's see if Chosen Prime has it.
Kiss it. If you
yeah. Let's see if we can find this Bingo Toys. Because here's the thing. There's no Computron, right?
Yeah.
There's no real MP scale Computron. There's no Legend scale Computron.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Bingo Toys, full price unknown. Okay. Here's the thing. I wonder if they're going to try, because, some of these companies like
the Magic Square
Bingo
route?
Toys, or I wasn't thinking the Magic Square route. What I was thinking is just cheap price.
Yeah.
Like the who's the Beast Wars company that I keep buying the stuff, and Robert.
Is that Transart?
Transart, thank you.
Yeah.
So Transart, it's like, okay, some of their figures are phenomenal. Like their Black Arachnia and their Transmetal Tarantulas, I think, are fantastic figures. Their Cheetor, Transmetal 2 Cheetor is trash. It looks great in both modes, but it's kind of a hollow, dumpy thing.
Right.
And their whole spin is they're taking...
Oh, you paid like
the
$20
original...
for it. What do you think? What do you think you're getting? You think you're getting a table you can hang on the wall? Nah.
You can't hang this on the wall. It's not a piece of art. You need this table. Maybe you transform your Bingo Toys on this table, and then you hang it back up on the wall. But if they say, well, okay, yeah, it's stylized, yeah, it's simple. The feet fold up here, you can see where things are. But this masterpiece scale Computron, or this Craftsman Legend scale Computron, the price is just too low to beat. It's like, the limbs are $80.
Yeah.
And the torso bot is $100.
You're gonna get a whole Computron for like $200. Come on.
That's a no-brainer.
Practical client. I'm looking at Lightspeed now, or fucking motorcycle guy. I don't know. My brain, I can't even think of his name anymore. Whatever. Who cares? And even him, like, if you look at him, like, look, it's his arms are holding a wheel, the front wheel, and his head is there, like, dangerously close to the wheel, and his legs are just folded up on his back. It's the Bingo Toys motif.
Yeah, well, see, but that's what I'm wondering. Like, if you get to a point where you're just like, look, it transforms, it looks good, it combines, it's MP scale, and the price is low enough that you want it on your shelf until Fans Toys does it, or X-Transbots, or MMC,
Then we've already made the sale, and we've made our money. So what you do with it later, who cares?
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, are these the most, do these mass shift or do crazy stuff like Fans Toys Motormaster? No.
But right now we're best by default. So
best by default, exactly. And if you come in and these are $200 a pop and the torso guy is, $300, they're not going to sell.
Right.
But if they come out and it's like, $80, I think if you come in at under $100 for limbs, as a masterpiece combiner that nobody else is doing, I think you can score. Yeah, if this was Bruticus, and Bingo Toys is like, hey, we're gonna do a Bruticus, and it's gonna be cheap, people be like, see you later.
Bruticus,
yeah, it's like Vectron Labs.
Yeah,
the joke, oh, they're still alive, they're still coming. It's like, why bother at this point?
Yeah,
you have all three of the big boys doing a Devastator, Fans Toys, MMC, X-Transbots. So Vectron Labs, probably you should just go home, Anyway,
go home, you're drunk.
Go home, Vectron, you're drunk. But yeah, I know this could be interesting. It's too stylized for me.
Yeah.
But we are very void of a Computron in both scales.
Yep, agreed.
Masterpiece and Legend. So
I don't see how they're gonna do it, and it's gonna be good, but I think you're right on the price there.
We don't have any pictures of Computron, do we?
No, they have just a silhouette. So, which that's just impossible to tell. For all we know, they're just releasing a separate Computron figure,
Yeah.
So
again, if Bingo Toys is taking kind of the easy route of, well, nothing here is, super intricate as far as, it's not like, again, you're taking a Fans Toys figure that takes you 45 minutes to transform. If they're just like, look, all of these are real simple to transform, and in order to pull off Computron, here's a Zeta style torso that just does nothing but, like I'm thinking Superion, how the Zeta Superion is just, here's a giant chunk, and it's the whole torso and the thighs and waist, and you just plug people in, and that's nice and simple. That torso doesn't transform into anything. Who cares?
Yeah.
If that's the approach they're taking and they're going to stick to a really low price, I think they could be pretty successful here.
Yeah, I agree. You're not wrong.
And then if it's stylized, you can always go, all right, well, if Fans Toys or some big player does a proper Computron, maybe I stick this Bingo Toys stylized Computron with my, Cang's Toys Predaking or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Or your Dream Star Silverbolt or
it does fit
Superion.
Else, yeah.
Yeah. So interesting, but
yeah.
All right, what's next?
So next is Magic Square, and we've seen all the stuff for Magic Square. They show Brawl. They show, I believe that they've already released the Shockwave, but they're showing it fits in the hands of their Bruticus, so that's cool.
This is their redo of Shockwave.
Yeah.
I think it's just in different colors, and then
we did see Swindle, and Swindle looks so good.
He's shipping.
Yeah, I think Matt Baldwin already has his. So, Deluxe. That's cool.
Breaking news.
I think I don't know if I still can't decide 100% if I'm going in on this set or not, but I may have to get this Swindle just because I think it looks so good. So, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I still have not really 100% decided, but that Swindle looks so good, and I just want to print him some credit cards. that old TFCC thing, it was just Swindle holding their credit cards. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So Swindle looks good. 01 Studios or Cell Studios or whoever they are now, they're showing off their Constructicons. I believe we already talked about these. They're weird. I think the long haul looks pretty cool, but he's huge. Let's see.
I'm okay with him being a little bigger.
I am okay with it too. I mean, it makes sense that he's bigger. I think I do like the styling of long haul. I actually think the styling of all these are kind of cool. I don't dig the Earth modes, but I kind of dig the non-Earth modes. It's weird. I'm in this weird conundrum. I'm not buying it, but it's interesting. Devastator looks too tall though, way too tall. Because you get to picture 184, and it's the two legs, the thighs, which are really short thighs. So he's got really long calves, then really short thighs, and then a tiny little waist, crotch area, and then tiny abdomen. Proportionally, he doesn't make sense. Oh, what the fuck is up with that? Okay. And then, so look at picture 185. That's the knee articulation.
Yeah.
That looks so bad. Literally, Scrapper. Well, they're both Scrappers. Right leg Scrapper, when the knee is bent like that, it's just so disjointed looking. That looks so shit. That's bad.
Why does it look like Long Haul has 4 legs? In 185, the right leg, which is bent down on the knee or knee to the ground, that looks like 2 Long Haul legs because his feet are sticking out.
No, that's it's part of your Scrappers. That's Scrapper's feet.
Oh, okay. So
it's not going to look like that because one of them is going to be Mixmaster, obviously.
Right.
But it doesn't look right. It's too big, and then the knee joint just looks terrible. It's literally a block connected at a right angle to another block. It's not natural looking in any way.
You just have that little piece in the middle, the black piece.
Right, and even that is not convincing. Just weird.
It is a little weird.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably going to be fine, but it's weird. So then they show...
So, I was just gonna say one thing that I don't get about this set is okay. So going back, Scrapper looks like an Earth mode Scrapper that they just tweaked a few things on.
They took the I don't know if you would call it like the
Cockpit
driver
canopy.
area cockpit, yeah, and it looks like they replaced it with like 2 missile launchers. It's like it's almost like you took an Earth mode vehicle and made it like a drone type thing, you know, like we don't need the cab for the driver anymore. Take it off.
Yeah, or you took like an Earth mode vehicle and it's now Mad Max land, and you've like tricked it out. But like Long Haul looks like a completely Cybertronian vehicle to me.
Yeah, he does.
Like he looks very, very Cybertronian, right?
Yeah.
And then you start clicking through and you get to Hook. Hook looks very Earth modey.
Yeah, Hook looks like way too Earth modey for how stylized they are.
Yeah, and then Mixmaster, it's like he's a mullet. He's G1 in the front, stylized in the back. Like
let me see.
He's picture 189.
Yeah.
It's like wrong. The front half of Mixmaster is Earth mode, and the back half is, I don't know. Yeah. It almost looks like he has a giant trash can on the back.
Honestly, the back half looks like they gave up. It looks like after the cab they gave up. Like he's got a tiny little cement mixer, like ridiculously tiny.
Yeah.
He's
only doing one bag at a time.
Right. Yeah, like this.
Go get a bag of Quick Crete. That's all he can mix.
It's like one of the ones you can rent for your yard. You know, like that little backyard one that sits on like a little stand. Like, the fuck is that? And then like his legs, I think it's I don't know what it is, but the part that makes, I guess it's his arms. That's what it is. They're just like perfectly like rectangular going up. I'm like, it doesn't look good. Like
it's like they said, okay, here's Mixmaster. Oh crap, we forgot to put in the thigh for Devastator.
Shit, yeah, and then like
throw this block on the back.
Look how far off the arms are hanging off the back of the truck. It's like there's the bumper, and like, oh, but you're not gonna hit the bumper. You're gonna hit all the cement mixing stuff before you hit the bumper. Weird.
It's very strange.
It's very strange. So then what do we have? We have
So when you get the Scavenger, it's like this. He's like Earth mode, but they raised it up on a block.
Yeah, it's Earth mode, but raised up on a block with a compressed cockpit area, cab or whatever. Yeah, it's strange.
It's very strange. And then Scavenger looks like a completely Cybertronian vehicle.
It's like they took a bulldozer. First off, they eliminated absolutely any of the detail that would make it look like a bulldozer in the middle area. It's just like blank, formless colors, and that's really the best praise I could give it, because it really does not look like they gave a crap about it at all. And then they're like, well, he's got no canopy here, so let's go ahead and or cabin. Let's go ahead and put in some more missile launchers. You know, like why missile launchers? It's weird.
All that combat at the construction site.
Right. Yeah. It's a very confused set, and then like you get to Devastator, and it's just like proportionally, I just don't think it works. I honestly don't. Like, if you look at the Scrapper leg, it's like Scrapper looks so skinny, and then there's like that back part of the thigh hangs off, and then Mixmaster is opposite, like the front part of his calf hangs off the thigh, like the thigh's too small, you know. And then like I don't know, I don't understand what's going on here, and I don't like it.
This is a bit weird. Yeah So Scrapper, what's weird is the thigh part of Scrapper is wider than the lower leg, so it looks off.
Yeah,
interesting.
Everything just is very strange looking. So
well, I just don't understand. They could have gone full Cybertronian mode here and even gone back to that that Don, I think it's Don Figueroa, if I'm saying that right, his concept for a Cybertronian Devastator, which
you could have leaned in hard
Lucky
on that.
Cat, I think Lucky Cat Toys did. I think the 5.2 Toys did a legend scale of him. The 5.2 Toys supposed knockoff company. And they did a great job for a legend scale, trying to stick to, you know, his sketches.
Yeah.
Why not go that route if you're going to go somewhat Cybertronian?
Yeah.
It's a very strange.
It doesn't make any
mix.
sense to me. Well, you know what though, Rich?
His forearms look too small too. What the
Yeah,
heck?
I'm telling you,
Anyway.
proportionally everything is a mess. It's all a mess. So,
Yeah.
but you know what?
What's up?
You know what I bet you we all wanted? You know what also makes Dinobots better?
What's that?
It's when they combine. And you know what makes them even better than that? It's when they're merged with Junkions. So they show this swoop, and like, who gives a flying fuck about this? Honestly,
No, I want to say one quick thing. The first picture of Swoop 193 gives me animated Swoop vibes. That's the only good thing.
it does, but it doesn't. It doesn't please me at all.
Yeah, the robot mode kills that idea, but the for some reason that Swoop in that first picture, the way he's posed and everything gives me animated vibes. But that's it. That's where it is.
It might be the wings, but like, so what's weird is the wings go into this, like, for lack of better terms, it's a Junkion tire with spikes on it and all. You know, like, which doesn't make sense. He's got these spiky missiles. He's got a spiky tail that hangs way the hell off him. They're like, what else does he need? He needs spikes on his, like, I guess his pecs, and then spikes on his arms, like where his elbows probably meet. Like, why all the spikes?
He's got spikes on his fists.
Yeah, like,
He's
so
got spikes on his or by his feet.
yeah, and so then you go. Oh, I just closed the picture. Hold on, let me go back. So now we go to robot mode, and like, robot mode is fine, but it's like, who's looking at this and being like, yeah, I'm gonna replace my Gigapower or my Fans toys for this? Like, nobody. Like, this is like the thing that you're like, okay, I'll get it because it's interesting and I like Dinobots, I suppose. You know, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't look right, and then all the spikes just don't make any sense at all. You know. So whatever. So then we go on to Snarl, who, like, what the. So Snarl, it's very important that we get the eyebrows of the dinosaur right, which just totally fucks up the whole Snarl vibe. And then, like, unlike Swoop, they're like, yeah, right, okay, I'm sorry, I missed them. He has spikes on his ass there, because Stegosauruses need more spikes, right? Like,
He's got
the plates
yeah.
aren't enough, so
Yeah.
he's got his spikes, which will be on his chest. He's got
titty
shredder
spikes.
claws on the very back of his back legs, which are shredder claws in his robot mode, with weird head crest things going on. Like, it's just, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't look good. And he's got the working woman shoulders there too, which cracks me up. I'm not sure who decided this one. But he's got big old black, like, he should have a cape hanging off his back, like shoulder pauldron things. And it's weird. And then we get to Sludge, and they're like, hey, dog, I heard you like spikes and Junkions. So not only did we give him some little plates and spiky teeth and little spikes on his forehead, but we've got him hanging off the sides of him, too. And the legs just look so stupid to me.
The dino legs, it looks like 4 forearms and 4 fists.
Yes, and it looks so bad. Like, they don't
really
look
weird.
good at all. And then his tail, I hope to God it articulates, but I'm guessing that it might not, and it's just a triangle pyramid thing hanging out the back. So
I want his legs to fold up and his 4 shoulders, for lack of a better term, turn into like their actual Junkion wheels.
Yes,
Like Wreck-Gar wheels, and he can roll around.
for sure. So I mean, you know, the spike placement is pretty. Oh, and there's the hidden one that right by the neck. You know, the thing that makes the most sense is when Sludge turns his head to look to the left or right, he stabs himself in the neck with the spikes that are right there. Yeah, which
For Sludge, he's bleeding out.
Yeah, which turn into two spikes that are at the head of the robot there. It's just bizarre. It's so weird.
His little front dino feet are so tiny, like he's tiptoeing.
Yeah. Like, this is the type of thing, like, if you put these out years before Fans Toys ever did them, like, back when it was, like, scaling with, like, Chug, I might have been interested, right? Like,
well, somebody did that, right? Zeta already did that.
Did they?
Zeta, yeah, remember Zeta did those combining, Toy World did the combining Dinobots, and they were not quite masterpiece scale, but they were like big chugs. And then Zeta reissued the whole set. I have that set, actually.
Yeah, I barely remember that. I mean, I remember, but I don't.
Yeah, let me see if I can find a quick picture for you. I think they called it Dino King also. Zeta did anyway.
Yeah.
Remember when they were reissuing a bunch of
I think I do remember it now, yeah.
Toy World stuff? Yeah, he's called Dino King.
Yeah.
And he combines.
Yeah. Turns into a table.
It turns into a table. Maybe you hang Dino King up on the wall.
Bam!
It's a beautiful piece of artwork. Bam! Look at that. It's a no-brainer. Forget about it.
So, yeah, so I don't know. Sludge in his robot mode, whatever. He'll kick you with his shins and slice you and dice you, and then he'll shoulder drop onto you and impale you, and hope he doesn't get his own head. Slag. So what does a Triceratops need? Well, clearly he needs 2 little sharp teeth, because all plant eaters need sharp teeth.
Right.
But so then he's also got like he's got 2 Triceratops. Is it Triceratops horns on his head when they angle forward that way, as opposed to just like a straight horn? And then he's got what I can only kind of describe as kind of a rhinoceros horn on the front. Like, I don't know. Again, he's got the straight tail, so I'm hoping it's articulated. But then they're like, spikes all over the back leg, spikes on the front, and for extra good measure, let's put some spikes on his actual gun. And in robot mode, he ends up looking more like Tantrum to me than he does Slag.
Definitely looks like bull horns.
Yeah,
in both modes.
And he's end up getting that's what it is. It's the horns don't look Triceratops; they look like bull horns, which when you combine it with the way they sculpted the face and the eyebrows, doesn't scream Dinobot to me. Yeah, that's weird. And then he's got little claws in his robot mode too. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They didn't show any of the combined mode. But I suspect, well, let's see. No, that's other stuff. Okay. So they didn't show any of the combined mode. But expect spikes all over the place. And I just can't get behind combining Dinobots. Like, I am of the crowd that, what made Dinobots so cool was that they didn't need to combine to fight with the combiners, So,
right.
Whatever, it's fine. And the thing is, if you make a good set of Dinobots that combine, then I don't need to combine them, right? Like, so, like, the whole they combine thing is like, well, you don't ever have to combine them, and, like, I get that. At the same time, there's no way you can tell me you can make a good set of Dinobots that something is not compromised because they combine, It's just...
Right.
Just the way
That's the real problem to me.
Yeah. What'd you send? What is this?
This is Zeta's Dino King, which we know Studio is Zeta.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
This is the old Toy World.
Yeah, I can't wait. I hope they put on the same stupid looking head on this thing too. So, anyway, they still have this thing for sale. $349 for this still. Is it okay? It's out of stock. Oh, okay. You say it's not worth $349 anymore. But yeah, okay. And this thing looks stupid too. Like the thighs of the combiner look absolutely abysmal. So no faith that this is actually going to be anything decent, honestly. So we'll move on. The next thing they showed is that they're doing a broadside, and I think we were all kind of expecting broadside to be fairly big. he's 345 millimeters. So what's that?
A little over
30.
13 and a half.
Yeah. So he's gonna scale with your MP, at least in robot mode. Of course, the aircraft carrier is not going to scale, but I will say the aircraft carrier looks damn good. Selectively, I think the aircraft carrier looks good. I like all the details, like the deck details they put in, and the control tower for the aircraft carrier. I think looks great with a lot of pieces that look like they would be easily broken. I will say underneath the deck leaves a little bit to be desired, but I mean, it's an aircraft carrier. It's hard for me to say if it doesn't look great under the deck, right? Like the front does look like the front of the hull, but the back just looks like a robot sitting there, kind of. It's probably fine. It's probably fine.
Yeah, I mean,
like what sells it is the top deck and all the details that you put into it, you know?
Yeah, I think it cleans up fairly well in aircraft carrier
Yeah.
mode, given that the other mode is a jet.
I don't hate it, but let's go talk about the jet. Let's go to the next picture, and then we got the jet. And I think the jet looks stupid.
Yeah, I mean, that's the jet, though. G1 Broadside has a real dumpy jet mode.
Yeah, but there's something about the fact that the nose cone doesn't meet. Like, this is your chance to give him a good jet mode, right? Like, and make it better. And, like, I think at the very least that nose cone should have met the gray piece there, like, the same level. Like think of the aerodynamics, right? Like, the air comes up and it hits a flat wall at 90 degrees straight up. Like, that's bad for a jet, right?
Right.
And like, so there's that. And the cockpit could have been executed better. So, is there another broadside coming in here?
I don't think so.
Who did broadside that it ended up looking like the was it the SDF one? It looked like
that was Fans Project way back in the day.
Okay. Oh, you're right. It was Fans Project.
Yeah,
So
and actually Dan had one for sale, and I'm actually kicking myself for not buying it because I've always wanted that figure.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the thing is like, and I get you can't make it look like the SDF one and hold true to G1. So like, I guess it's kind of like a weird argument, but I don't know. You could have done something with this plane mode, I think, to make it look better, in my opinion. That's where my faults on this thing lies. I just don't think that the airplane mode looks good at all. And I do realize he's a dumpy jet, but it's like,
Yeah.
this is your chance to make him better than a dumpy jet. You know, like, you could still make him vaguely look like this dumpy jet, but like, I still think the nose cone should have met the very end of the black, you know, and then the cockpit could have been made to look nicer, and then maybe you do something extra with the wings. Like, the wings are very skinny on this jet, you know, like, and granted they have to make the top of the aircraft carrier, so you're a little limited, but fucking Fans Project, or a Fans Hobby I should say, has shown what they can do with folding panels and like making things condense down to a very small shape, you know. I think you could have done something extra here and made it work. So I don't know, we'll see. Will we get another broadside? No, probably not, right? So
Probably not.
yeah, and the robot mode looks great to me. So
The jet mode is very reminiscent of the toy.
yeah.
Hold on, let me pull a pic up for that. So the other weird thing about Broadside is he has two very different robot modes depending upon which episode you watch him in. And I think he's only in maybe two episodes. And the images, hold on, let me toss this in here so you can see it. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, I'm just trying to get Facebook Messenger to work now. There we go. Maybe. if it sent.
Yeah, see.
So the jet mode doesn't really match the cartoon.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, which.
And that's
nice.
what I'm talking about is like see how the nose cone meets the gray part like perfectly, and it just like and I get that it's probably going to be hard to make something that actually transforms from an aircraft carrier to a decent looking jet, but you could have done it better than this. Like you can't tell me they could have done it any better.
Yeah, I really think that they went for the whole. They're like, we're not going to really pull off the rounded cartoon jet, so let's try and go
with the toy,
for the toy look.
But see,
and as far as
even the toy, the red part meets the gray better, you know, like I don't know. This could have been done better. I'm probably still in on it, but it could have been done better.
Now, I do know that they posted some updates on Facebook, or on somewhere, I think on Facebook, where they basically said, yeah, we've heard some of the responses or feedback from Baltimore, and they've made some tweaks here and there.
Okay.
But I'd have to find those pictures. Nothing too crazy.
I guess we'll keep our eyes on it and see what they do. I will say, I absolutely love that in robot mode, the I guess the command tower of the aircraft carrier is just hanging off his right leg. Like, imagine people in there and he's like running around. Broadside, stop running. So and that's the other thing is like when I'm like, oh, Cell Studios is doing this. Like I thought that this was gonna be like big, like their Unicron, you know, because it's an aircraft carrier. I just feel like he'd be big like that, you know. But I mean, it's essentially like a city on the water. He should be like Metroplex size. I'd be okay with that. So I don't know.
So I sent one more picture, and it's from the Sunbow scale chart. And if you look at that, you look at Jetfire, Skyfire, kind of in the top right of the pic I sent, and then Broadside down there, kind of in the bottom left.
Yeah, they're pretty comparable in size overall.
Yeah, he should be as tall. It looks like roughly to the top of Broadside's head should be to the top of Skyfire's red jetpack, but he also looks like he's a little beefier, like thicker. So MP Skyfire is about 14 inches tall.
So this is 13.58 inches. So he's going to be shorter than the MP Skyfire, which is
just a touch. Like he I'm assuming I do have mine sitting here. I could measure. I have a tape measure.
Yeah, you'd have to measure you'd have to measure from the foot to the top of the head. I wouldn't count the red backpack piece because it looks like in that regard they should be the same height.
I think he's roughly the same height. I bet their heads are the same. I bet it's that red backpack that sticks up to the 14 inches on Skyfire.
Okay. Well, if that's true,
so we'll see.
That is mostly okay. I can deal with the scale, and I do think the robot mode looks good enough that I'm probably in on it. But
I think they chose the better of the robot modes because
I agree.
That middle picture on the first pic I sent, the pre-final model, he does appear like that in one episode.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't like that look at all. I think it looks super dumpy and crappy. But
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I might be in on
way.
this.
I don't like it. Yeah, I probably am. Like, because we're probably never getting one again, right? Like, yeah. Okay. So what's next? Moving on. So they have a Metroplex. I don't like it, and that is actually scaled to go with their Primus, who actually looked better in person than I thought he did in pictures. But
agreed.
I think Metroplex looks stupid.
I don't like this Metroplex at all. He looks like he's gone into anaphylactic shock. Like he got stung by a bee and he's all puffy. And then somebody asked Pat Lee to draw him.
Yeah, you're not
in Dreamwave style. So he's like puffy on top of puffy.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
I don't understand this at all. But
yeah, not for me. X Transbots, they showed that. Fantastic model. So this is Fans Toys. They're Ratchet and they're Ironhide, and they're weird to me, right? Because I think dead on these look good, but when they show these like 3/4 angles, I don't like how they look. So,
How about that little happy face on Ratchet's chest?
yeah,
The gray mouth.
yeah, it's too happy. I don't know. Like, I feel like something needs to compress down. Like, I'm gonna have to see these. Like reviews of these before I can make a decision, because like right now I don't even know if I want to replace my MPs, honestly. Like I don't know. Like when it's dead on, I think it looks great, but like any other angle, I'm not really liking how these look.
I don't know. Okay, so the first Ratchet picture, 213.
Mm-hmm.
I think that looks pretty good. Like the chest, it is a weird angle, but I think that's kind of how he's supposed to look. Like,
I don't know. Let's see.
yes.
Cartoon Ratchet. Oh, I gotta play Transformers before I get a bunch of pictures of actual
Ratchet and
ratchets.
Clank.
No, I ended up getting like legit tool ratchets.
I heard an amazing story on the news today while I was making my lunch.
Mm-hmm.
I tell Google to play the news for me, right? And so, Wicked is out, or it's coming out soon, the movie.
Yeah.
Based on the play, based on the book or something. I don't know. It's Wizard of Oz story about the witch, right?
Yeah.
So Mattel is doing a bunch of toys for Wicked, right?
Mm-hmm.
They just had to issue a big apology and a recall on a bunch of Wicked toys because in the tiny print on the box, they put, go check out the website, right?
Oh,
well,
I heard that. They
put wicked.com, which takes you to adult movie production studio Wicked.
Yeah.
That makes XXX movies instead of wickedthemovie.com. So there's a bunch of kids toys out there for Wicked with an adult website on it, which is hilarious. I love that so much.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry.
Pretty wild. So it's kind of like, it depends on which picture you look at Ratchet, right? Like there's some that he definitely looks more like this, and then there's some that he looks less like this, in my opinion. So I sent you, what did I send you? 2 of them. And it's like the top one where he's sitting next to Wheeljack, like it looks more flat, right? Like it doesn't look like it sticks out and makes that angle as sharp as the toy. But then you see the next one, where he's got a little sled there, and like that sticks out way more prominently, but he's also like compressed and stuff. So I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel like it, and I feel like the window feels like it's not elongated enough, like in the horizontal. You know what I mean? And again, that depends too. So like that first picture you sent, again, I don't think it looks like it comes out as far as it does on Fans Toys, and then the window goes across his chest more. And then you look at the Fans Toys, he's got these 2 big white, or Fans Hob, whatever, who cares? You know who I'm talking about. Fans Toys. They've got 2 big white like frames to the window on the left and right side that doesn't exist on that top picture you sent. Like they're much smaller. But then on the bottom picture, that thing is real small. So like, yeah. Like I see why it is. I just don't know if I like it, and I don't know if I even like it over the existing MP, if I'm honest with you. So
yeah, and I think this is where you start splitting some hairs, because when you start really kind of looking at the last 2 pics I sent are from the movie where he's getting killed by Starscream and Megatron.
Yeah.
And it's like you can see it there, especially when he's like falling back and dying, how his chest angles out and down and then back in. But yeah, it's definitely different.
Yeah, every frame
the
is
slant
different
and
looking.
yeah, and again, this is, and you go back to the original toy and you go, well, the original G1 toy is trash.
Yeah.
And so these animation models came from them looking at the G1 toys.
Yeah, and trying to do something with them.
Yeah, and the G1 toys for Ratchet and Ironhide are obviously trash. So they're really trying to make a figure out of something that just is there for the sake of drawing it, you know, and
you're not wrong.
It's so tough, you know, and I don't know. I will say this though. I watched some reviews of the X-Transbots Ratchet and Ironhide, and I saw the side-by-side comparisons. And I like the MP Ironhide and Ratchet, but seeing them next to the X-Transbots, I'm like, man, they do look really dated.
Oh,
like,
they definitely do. I just don't know if I feel like they're so bad. Like, the same thing applies for the Make Toys Jets at this point. Like, they do look dated and old comparatively, but I'm like, so does a bunch of my stuff on my shelf, honestly. You know?
Sure.
It's like the Datsuns. I'm like, the Datsuns could use a new mold, right? And it's like, but they also look damn good as Datsuns, so it's like, I struggle, you know, like I struggle with that. So yeah, I don't know.
It's a tough one. This is one I'm gonna have to see more pictures, maybe in person.
I agree. I also am thinking very heavily of like, maybe I just pick up one of these, you know, like either Ironhide or Ratchet, and then just keep the MP as the other, because it gives like that mold and character differentiation a little. So I don't know. We'll see.
Here's a nice side shot.
The van, I think, looks fantastic. Yeah. See, then you get that one, and it's like, yeah, now he's got a big old angle coming out. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. The van does look fantastic.
But then Optimus Prime also got a super squished cab in this one too. You know, so it's like, you never know what you're gonna get. So, but the van looks good. I really like the van. There's angles I really like this Ratchet, but I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to do with it.
Look at 218. I don't like picture 218 at all. The front looks all fucked up to me. Like the other pictures, I'm like, the van looks cool.
You're right.
218, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
You got a bumper that doesn't match. Like it kind of wobbles up and down. The front of the van is really broken up. I actually think if I get one of these, I might get the Ironhide, because I think part of what I don't like about Ratchet is like how the red stripes and stuff show up on the side of his chest, which I don't know if Ironhide has that problem. Let's see. Ironhide does too, but I don't know. For some reason, it's more distracting on Ratchet to me.
Might be the color.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'll pick up Ironhide and we'll check it.
See, the van for Ironhide looks better too. It might be the color.
Yeah.
Makes it pop differently.
Maybe. Yeah. We'll see. Oh, excuse me. We'll see.
All right.
I really thought I was really like in love with these at one point. Now I don't know if I am. So, whatever. So moving on. So we've got Fans Toys Proper showing off more of their Constructicons. Hook looks Hook-like.
Hook looks great.
Yeah, they look good. If you're going for cartoon, they look good. The Devastator head and everything looks great too. Let's see. Galvatron 2.0. I don't get this. And I really need to pull open like my Galvatron, because like Galvatron I would say is arguably like the perfect Fans Toys figure, right? Like he's not super complex to transform. He's beautiful. He's got an amazing paint job. So I don't understand this, right? Like why are we doing a 2.0? What is so different about him? And you know, I saw this picture and I thought, I'm like, well, you know, honestly, I feel like Fans Toys really should have put a picture of 1.0 Sovereign next to this so I could really see what the difference is, because looking at these pictures, I don't see anything different. Is this just a re-release of Galvatron? Like, I have no idea. I don't think so. But I can't tell any differences. And, like, there's...
I can see the difference. Like, okay, so looking at pictures, say, let's see, 251. I feel like, and I'm pulling up a picture now of Sovereign 1.0, but I feel like he looks a lot more cartoony in the rounded like thighs and legs, and even like his biceps and such.
I don't know. I feel like I feel like 1.0 Sovereign looks like he's like a paint job away from looking like this, though.
Let me see if I can find the. I'm trying to find a good comparison pic. When I look at this 2.0, if you take it in a vacuum, I look at this Sovereign 2.0 and I'm like, man, this looks fucking fantastic.
Oh, it does. But I don't see how it looks any more fantastic over what they've done is my problem. Okay.
Right.
So,
right.
All right.
So that's my problem with it.
Okay.
I look at it and I go, do we need a Sovereign 2.0?
Yeah. So looking at Sovereign 1.0, he's got like 4 abs in the centerpiece, whereas the 2.0 compresses it down. Like they're 4 squares versus like 4 little rectangles on this one. The treads of the tank either aren't sculpted in this or they're covered better versus the 1.0. But like, end of the day, I don't think that this looks like it's doing something so grossly better that it's like, better throw away this $160 purchase, you know, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
160. I bet it's bigger. I bet it was more than that.
I mean, I'm looking right now. I don't even know if you get it from AliExpress, but apparently it's on AliExpress for $190. Let's see, $250 on eBay. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I can see some of the differences, but I don't think it's enough difference that I'm like, well, geez, you know, like this is not like Sea Spray 1.0 versus 2.0, right? Like, this is not that, you know. This is not even Perceptor 1.0 to 2.0, you know, like.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know, if you told me you were gonna make a Hot Rod 2.0 and he's gonna be better than their Hoodlum, like, okay, I get you, right? Like, I get that because that's a dated mold, but like, I don't think that the existing Sovereign looks bad enough that anything here is markedly better. I'm even looking at the face sculpt. I'm like, well, maybe the face sculpt is better, and I think the face sculpt may be better, but I'm like, just put out like a face pack for the 1.0. Like, I don't know. I don't even know if it looks better, to be honest with you, you know? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, this is a weird one. I mean, it looks great, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's a hard sell for me because you're not replacing something that was bad, you know? Yeah, I don't understand it. So
I see a lot of little differences that I look at 2.0 and I say, okay.
Yeah.
This is good.
If I had the choice between 1.0 and 2.0 now, I'd probably go for 2.0. But do I see enough here that tells me I need to get rid of my 1.0? No, you know? So.
Yeah, that's the part that's a little tough. Like, I'm trying to see. Okay, let's see. Does this thing transform the same? I wonder if this is truly just like hey, we took our original figure, transforms the same. Everything's pretty much the same, but we're going to retool a bunch of parts so they look more cartoony.
Yeah, I don't know, because you do, so it looks like the back of the foot looks a little bit different. Like, the foot's cleaner. You get like an actual like heel toe, which is lesser in the 1.0. The abdomen
shins
area
are
is different,
cleaner too.
Yeah, so there's obviously differences. I don't know. I don't think there's anything I could do that says that this is, let me go ahead and pay another $200 for Galvatron better. So yeah, I don't know.
This is an interesting move. I think it looks fantastic. It'll probably look better side by side than Sovereign 1.0.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It's not like Spindrift or whatever they called their Sea Spray 1.0 and 2.0, where it's like, oh, this is a completely different
This is
figure,
so obviously
different look, different. Yeah. And they have so much on their plate. This feels like, I don't know. You know, I was gonna say this feels like a, show this a few years down the road type thing, but it just occurred to me too that we have the 40th anniversary of the movie coming up in 2026, which isn't as far away as it sounds.
Yeah.
You know, we're in November now of 24, so
maybe that's the point of this. Is they're like, well, we made our money on Sovereign. We repainted it. We reissued it. We reissued the repaints. I know they reissued at least the movie repaint.
Yeah,
so maybe they're just like, yeah, you know what? 40th anniversary is coming up. Let's
make a new one.
Let's make a new one. And it's the same as our old one, except we're going to make it look even more cartoony.
Yeah, maybe.
And clean it up a little bit.
Yeah,
and
you may not be wrong.
Cash in on the 40th anniversary. And by that point, Sovereign had been long out of retail.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you might not be wrong. So.
I don't know. But I'm
not
interested in
at this point. So
I want to see it side by side, full color.
Yeah.
Not Digibash. I want to see the full color production sample next to Sovereign.
Yep.
The original Sovereign. And let's see what it looks like.
Yeah. All right, so moving on. Fans Hobby. Fans Hobby showing us nothing that I don't think we've seen before.
By the way, before we get too far away from Fans Toys, I just want to say we got a lot from Fans Toys, but no Blitzwing. They made a big deal about redesigning Blitzwing. Remember I think at Orlando.
That is really interesting.
And then it's back to crickets. It's kind of like before. They released the pictures. Oh, we're doing Blitzwing, and then it's like, cool.
What was also particularly weird about that is that like Blitzwing was like one of those things where, like, it's coming out like next week, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah. Everybody thought it was coming.
Yeah.
Apparently, the next one coming this month is Ultra Magnus.
Very cool. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him.
But sorry, let's go on. Fans Hobby.
Fans Hobby has shown nothing until we get to their Star Saber, I believe he is called in Energon. He looks as weird as...
Armada, yeah.
No, this is the Energon one.
Oh, are we that far down there?
Yeah. We
Wing Saber.
Wing Saber, that's right. That's what he is. And he looks just as weird with his split in half body. But at least his face doesn't look like it splits in half like the old toy does. He's fine. I don't have anything really to say about it.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
That always bothered me about the face.
It's not that interesting of a mold, if I'm honest with you. It combines like the ways you would expect it to, but like I don't think it does anything super interesting. If I had this Prime, I wouldn't bother with the Wing Saber, if I'm honest with you. But I also didn't bother with Jetfire or Overload for the Armada one. So if this is your Prime, then you're probably over the moon about this. So Mastermind Creations, there's our Rat Bat. Their perfect combiner. We saw Groove before. He looks great. Saw him in person. Still looks great. Their Devastator, we've pretty much seen all this stuff. Devastator was there, and he was pretty impressive if you like cartoon Devastator, I think. Looks super nice, in my opinion. Drift, we saw Drift. Apparently, watch for pre-orders soon. And that looks like that's it for the third-party panel. So
Toy Dojo's gonna have like a diorama.
Oh yeah, Toy Dojo told us that they're gonna have like a diorama for the tofu shop. If you're an Initial D fan, they've got them all made up and everything. So that's super cool.
Yeah. So if you're gonna pre-order Stray Drift, I would say Toy Dojo is the place to get it. That's where I plan on grabbing mine when I see it pop.
Yeah, me too. I like it. I love bringing Drift into the like G1 aesthetic, honestly.
Yeah, I love this look. The look of this Drift. But...
And I like that they have the actual cartoon head, and if I recall correct, there's a actual like G1 Transformer looking head in there. Like it takes away the like spikes off the head and makes him look more Prowl like almost. So, yeah, nice. I like that. I think that's super cool. So let's see. What else do we have? That's all for TFCon. So let's see. Newage has some Minibots. Let's try to run through some of these things quick. So they have a blue Warpath to go with the Gobots, whatever it was that they were trying to do. Not Gobots.
Well, this one's Shattered Glass.
Oh, is it the Shattered Glass one? The blue one?
The green one is the...
Oh, you're right. The green one is the Minibot. Yeah, you're right. So you got a blue and a green Warpath. You know Newage. They like to do repaints. And I'm sorry. The Transformers Minibots are not Gobots. So moving They've got a green Gears and a Smallfoot Gears.
Yeah, shattered glass and
again,
the green one looks like he's in Toxitron colors.
it does look Toxitron colors, which is kind of cool looking.
Yeah,
But,
that would be a fun one to put with the Toxitron. You know, like this is like a little team. But yeah.
And I refuse to recall this one Smallfoot. So moving on. Let's see. Let's make some new noise for the two new Dr. Wu Cassettebots, and they got it's basically whatever the jet and the oh no, this is the bird and the dino guy. Yeah, right.
Yeah, this is noise and
maze or whatever.
Graphy or
yeah,
or decibel and graphy or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese cassettes.
Oh no,
so
decibel was the combined form. Yeah, so it's noise and graphy.
Yeah,
I like
cool.
these.
I like
They're
them
for
too.
the siege size cassettes, so they'll fit in the siege or War for Cybertron and Earth Spark or not Earth Sparks, Earthrise.
Yeah.
Whatever the blaster, the Studio Series blaster, and the Legacy or whatever the War for Cybertron trilogy Soundwave.
Yeah.
They've put them out in different waves now or different lines. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the smaller cassette size for those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks
are cool.
Good. I like it. Painted nice. They look fine for their size. So I'm good with those. All right.
Down for 'em.
Next, what do we got? Come on, mouse, work. What happened? Cang Toys Brontosolid has a lot going on. So this is Cang Toys' Dinobots.
Missed the other. Missed the Dr. Wu Metroplex and Metrotitan.
Whoops. Okay, well we'll go back.
We'll go back.
So Cang Toys Sludge. He's a Gundam.
This thing, wow.
It's
so much going on with it.
Wow is definitely a good word. So
yeah.
Dr. Wu really wanted to cash in on that Waterhead baby Metroplex that Robert loved so long ago, and has made a tiny little Metroplex, and he looks cool. I'm okay with it. I like I like that he comes with a little stylized Scamper and Slammer. So
yeah.
Where's the 6 gun?
He's there.
So,
He's there.
Where is he? I don't see him.
He's a tiny little 6
there he is. There he is. Sorry, I didn't scroll down enough.
A little tiny 6 gun.
Yeah, I like it. I'm okay with that. And
they got a Metro type.
He turns into a cube. Why? I don't fucking know.
Potato.
He's got a better base mode than the Titans. The Titans tidal wave.
The cube is a better base mode than Titan class tidal wave, indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this looks fun and cool.
I do think it looks fun. For the right price, I might be in on a tiny little Metroplex like this, if I'm honest.
I might too.
So.
Or a Metro Titan, because I like that.
Because why not? So yeah, this is cool.
Cool.
I like it, and honestly, what really sells me is the Scamper, Slammer, and 6 gun. Bravo on doing all that. So, okay, what's next? Official news: don't scream Blokee fatigue just yet. We've got a new series coming, and I think people seem to absolutely love the Blokees, and they're fun.
So these are even smaller.
Oh.
And a little super deformed.
Yeah, and this is interesting. So they show an Optimus Prime with a whatever the thing you want to call it, the Teletran unit or whatever from the trailer on his back with Prow riding him. Like that's interesting.
Yeah, I put another link with some other pics and you can see a little more, but yeah, it's interesting because these are all like super deformed and
Now I assume these are just like the other Blokees and they don't transform. But what's weird is they show the Thundercracker and then a Thundercracker. I'm like, so is this like 2 Thundercrackers or does this thing actually transform? I assume it does not transform, but I don't know.
It does not. I don't believe. At best, you can probably take them apart and put them back together. Let's see. Does it mention? I don't think these transform at all. None of the other Blokees do.
They didn't. Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. But it's weird that they do show Thundercracker and then Thundercracker, which, I mean, in one of the waves they had Snarl in robot mode and Snarl in vehicle mode. So
Yeah, and it does say up here that it's Thundercracker in robot mode and Thundercracker in alt mode, so it is two different pieces, just like the Prime, they're two different. So
it's fine. It's what it is. So.
Blokees are fun little figures to put together and everything. So
whatever. Let's go Blokees. Eternal War coming to a pocket near you. So this is the new game that is coming out.
The new mobile game, yep.
Yeah. It looks like it's G1, so we'll see. It's a mobile game. They want your money. So.
Idle RPG. I'm sure it plays like some other idle RPG out there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine. We'll see. Will I take a look at it? Probably not. I have enough mobile game stuff going on. A new Deluxe Optimus mold is coming from the Transformers Devastation game, which is interesting to me. I saw this.
This is really weird.
Yeah. It was like, you tired of Prime yet? Us neither. Here's another Prime, and here's another G1 Prime. He looks tiny as shit, and I can't tell, is this like a deluxe or is this like a legend scale? Because
it's deluxe.
He looks so small. He looks even smaller than this Prime on my desk.
What I love is that first picture where he's posed in front of the box.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's got his leg out like, check out my waffles, ladies.
Check out my waffles. Check out my wheels on the side of my legs poking through weirdly. I like
check
the cell
out my
shading.
Foot that looks completely disconnected.
Yeah, I like the cell shading they did on the windows, and that's like where it stops. And I think the truck mode looks stupid.
The truck mode's terrible.
And it looks so basic that it's like, it screams like, is this honest to God a deluxe? Like,
this looks like it should come out in like the Evergreen line or whatever the Walmart or Walgreens line is, you know?
I could agree with that.
Those big kind of hollow, simplified.
Yeah, and just nothing about this looks like an actual deluxe. It really looks like a Legends. Like, this looks subpar to the Newage Optimus, and like, granted, I think like most of the Hasbro line looks subpar to the Newage Prime here, but like, it honest to God looks like a knockoff Optimus Prime toy or something.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah, what? So look at the last pick, right? Pick 5.
He transforms in 21 steps. The fuck does he do? It looks like you fold the white things down to cover the wheels awkwardly. Check. Mm-hmm. There's obviously a blue piece that folds around somewhere. I don't know, to cover it a little bit more, but whatever. So that's 1, 2. I guess if you mirror it, that's 4. Split the arms here and flip something up. I don't know where I see 21 steps. I don't think. I don't know. What picture am I looking at?
Just pick 5, the Trek
5.
mode.
Okay, I'm on it.
What the hell is on his back? Is that the axe?
It's no, it's a megaphone. For him to shout to the high heavens how shit he is. I don't really know what that is.
He doesn't come with a gun? I don't see a gun on the box.
No,
he's got a matrix.
He's got an axe that like
looks like he's swinging it. I get that,
but like, so look at picture 4 with him swinging the axe, and like, you know how like the bulb like most primes, that bulb like goes into the fist, right?
Or it covers the fist, yeah.
Yeah, and like this one like has like a half. It looks like it pegs straight into something, so I'm guessing the fist rotates around to reveal like a peg hole and plugs in, and then like you kind of got the weird part of the axe going over the top of the like, it's so weird.
Yeah, so again, compared to that Legacy Deluxe Prime, this looks way simplified and way shittier.
Yeah. And even the Optimus mode doesn't look good. Like the grill abdomen doesn't like meet up with the pecs of the chest. Like, it just looks unfinished. And the same goes for the truck mode. Then like the bumper doesn't meet the like lights or anything like that. There's that weird gap in the front. Like, it's all so phoned in looking.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna be contrary and say it's a neat little stylized Prime. Well, you sir are wrong. It looks terrible.
Yeah, this really looks like a Walgreens release to me.
It does to me too.
Like a really good Walgreens, like evergreen release or whatever they're calling that line now.
Yeah.
But yeah, this doesn't look good to me.
No.
Especially not at $25, especially not compared to that G1 Legacy.
Yeah.
As weird as that is and as awkwardly sized as it is, it's a pretty solid figure.
Yeah.
For a mainline release. This doesn't look solid.
No. Well, speaking of other things that aren't solid, the Mix Mashers, are coming back again. And I feel like we all remember these, right? Like, you got your favorite Marvel Comics characters, and you could pull off, like, the arms of Wolverine and toss it on Captain America and all that shit. And they're like, what if we did that but Action Master Transformers? And so you can get all kinds of weird abominations, like Tank Gun Megatron.
I like pick 6. It's like Bumblebee's head
with
Optimus Primal's chest.
Yeah, with looks like movie Bumblebee's leg or something. And a saw blade, because saw blade.
I love that there's hardly any paint on any of these figures, so they just look.
Yeah. I like that they have like the kid like in the background. These kids look like you're enjoying this toy. No, like you're enjoying it more. Like it's like.
So I love this. Like, okay, so look at pick. Well, it's Megatron 01 where he has the green tank feet.
Uh-huh.
It's like G1 Megatron with G2 Megatron treads.
Yes, but they took his whole. They replaced his actual whole shins with just tank legs. Like he's Lieutenant Dan. He's been cut off at the knee. He's Lieutenant Dan. That's his wheelchair.
What's funny is if you go to the very next picture, it's Megatron like in packaging with all the parts for Megatron.
Yep.
And it's like, oh look, it's everything you expect to have with Megatron, and then these two weird Armada or G2 tank tread Megatron parts, and this like weird yellow and blue jetpack.
Yeah, that doesn't look like it makes any sense. So the only thing I could say about the yellow and blue jetpack is I feel like everybody looks like they come with something that just makes 0 sense. And I'm wondering if it's like, if you combine these together, it makes something else. Like look at, so there's picture, it's Mix Mashers Megatron 8. And there's like a jetpack, and then like they have like each, like Optimus has like a big yellow arm, and they both have like one big yellow leg. Like it looks like it's supposed to be something else that go. Oh no, Optimus comes with 2 yellow arms and 2 yellow legs and the yellow jetpack. So that jetpack's supposed to go with Prime somewhere. I don't know.
I love in that same picture you pointed out that they each have one giant boot, but only on one leg. So they're like walking weird, or are they walking around a hill? Like what's going on here?
Well, and then you also in that same picture, you've got an Optimus head on a Megatron body with an Optimus arm and one Optimus leg, and then the other one's the Megatron head on the Optimus body with one Optimus arm, and it's weird.
This is just these are huge too.
It's bizarre, and like I don't know. I'm out of touch. Maybe my kid would actually think that this is fun. I don't know.
I wonder if all these yellow and blue parts, like you collect all of them and you can make some other Build-A-Figure.
That's what I'm wondering too. If it's like, if you buy all of these, you'll make something else, you know? But I don't know. Like when I look at, Bumblebee comes with the saw blades, which looks like the only thing that doesn't make any real sense with Bumblebee.
He also looks like a smaller package, so I wonder if you only get the big extra parts with.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Primal comes with the fucking blade from Mass Effect. The Omni Blade. Or actually, it looks like a giant like dildo or something. I don't know what the fuck's going on there.
It almost looks like Ravage's
he's
gun.
Like, I am going to penetrate your ass, Megatron. I don't know. These are a mess, and these are stupid. And from what I recall, the Marvel line, when they did these, just kind of peg-warmed forever. Like, forever.
You know what it was? Somebody was like, wait a minute. Skybound Comics did this thing where
Optimus Prime has Megatron's cannon arm.
You're not wrong.
It's time to bring Mix Mashers back.
You are not wrong. I am certain that that's probably what spawned this. Oh, but on the positive note, Optimus Prime has a better looking axe than that other thing. So there's that. That at least looks good. Pull off his arm and put an axe on. So.
Buy this Prime, take the axe, put it on the other one.
Yeah. I don't know. This is stupid. I don't know why they're doing this. Like, I really don't. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I don't know.
Next, they're gonna do the G.I. Joe, and they're gonna be like, "See, nobody wants G.I. Joe." And it's like, nobody wants a half Snake Eyes, half Storm Shadow. Like,
you can finally give Snake Eyes Scarlet's boobs.
Yeah, exactly. And like, so what's weird about this too is there's more than what we've seen. There's definitely a Starscream, because on the Bumblebee package you can see a Starscream. And they show a Starscream and a Optimus Primal and a Bumblebee. So there's obviously either more already here that we're not seeing, or they've already cooked up some more. So
they're probably just going to start reissuing them if they did these before, you know. Transformer ones. Didn't they do Transformers before? Or am I thinking of the Constructobots?
I feel like they did, but I don't know. I know they for 100% they did Marvel versions of these. Mix Mashers. Is that a thing? Yeah, superhero mashers is what they called them.
Okay. So they just changed.
Right?
Oh, yeah, Hero Mashers.
Hero Mashers.
Transformers Hero Mashers. Okay, so they just basically came up with a new name.
Yeah, and it looks like if you have these existing ones, like, so good. Now you can, I'm looking at it, like, you can give Bumblebee Falcon's arms and his head if you really want to. Or Spider-Man's forearms. Yeah. It's the same connection that they used with the Hero Mashers. So, was there Transformers version before? All right.
Yeah, I'm looking at some right now.
Well, there you go. The Hero Mashers collectors out there who were like, "Oh man, I'm so sad that the line ended." Well, now you can pick it up and keep going. Good for you. I'm happy for you.
Yeah. Great.
Super. You can go ahead and buy yourself a slag. I'm sorry, slug, because that's offensive. And you can go ahead and you can put Optimus Prime's legs on one of him and tank treads on the front. Fuck it, this is stupid. All right, well, that's all we have for today. So shout out to Dustmightz for our beats. Thank you if you followed us from Shattered Cast Uncut. Join us here every 2 weeks. Hopefully next week we'll have Oscar. Oscar was working late and just couldn't get here today, and Robert is still giving handies back in the back alleys. So I hear they're free. I hear they're really nice. He does accept tips, but they're unnecessary, just appreciated. So anyway, get out there. Thanks for listening to us, and we're going to get the fuck out of here. Oh, man.
Good night, everybody.
It's Bumblebee Thor. Just what I did. Oh, my God. And Captain America with Swoop's head. That's stupid. Thank you for sending me things I didn't need to see with my life, but I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Good night. Bye, everyone.